Book 8. Chapter I. How Sir Tristram de Lyons was born, and how his mother died at his birth, wherefore she named him Tristram. It was a king that hight Meliodas, and he was lord and king of the country of Lyons, and this Meliodas was a likely knight as any was that time living. And by fortune he wedded King Mark's sister of Cornwall, and she was called Elizabeth, that was called both good and fair. And at that time King Arthur reigned, and he was whole king of England, Wales, and Scotland, and of many other realms. Howbeit there were many kings that were lords of many countries, but all they held their lands of King Arthur. For in Wales were 2 kings, and in the north were many kings, and in Cornwall and in the west were 2 kings. Also in Ireland were 2 or 3 kings, and all were under the obeisance of King Arthur. So was the king of France, and the king of Brittany, and all the lordships unto Rome. So when this King Meliodas had been with his wife, within a while she waxed great with child, and she was a full meek lady, and well she loved her lord, and he her again. So there was great joy betwixt them. Then there was a lady in that country that had loved King Meliodas long, and by no means she never could get his love. Therefore she let ordain upon a day, as King Meliodas rode hunting, for he was a great chaser, and thereby an enchantment she made him chase an hart by himself alone till he came to an old castle, and there anon he was taken prisoner by the lady that him loved. When Elizabeth, King Meliodas' wife, missed a lord, and she was nigh out of her wit, and also as great with child as she was, she took a gentlewoman with her, and ran into the forest to seek her lord. And when she was far in the forest, she might no farther, for she began to travail fast of her child, and she had many grimly throes. Her gentlewomen helped her all that she might, and so by miracle of Our Lady of Heaven she was delivered with great pains. But she had taken such cold for the default of help that deep draughts of death took her, that needs she must die and depart out of this world. There was none other boat. And when this Queen Elizabeth saw that there was none other boat, then she made great dole, and said unto her gentlewoman, When ye see my lord, King Meliodas, recommend me unto him, and tell him what pains I endure here for his love, and how I must die here for his sake for default of good help, and let him wit that I am full sorry to depart out of this world from him. Therefore pray him to be friend to my soul. Now let me see my little child, for whom I have had all this sorrow. And when she saw him, she said thus, Ah, my little son, thou hast murdered thy mother, and therefore I suppose, thou that art a murderer so young, thou art full likely to be a manly man in thine age. And because I shall die of the birth of thee, I charge thee, gentlewomen, that thou pray my lord, King Meliodas, that when he is christened let call him Tristram, that is as much to say as a sorrowful birth. And therewith this queen gave up the ghost and died. Then the gentlewomen laid her under an umber of a great tree, and then she lapped the child as well as she might for cold. Right so there came the barons, following after the queen, and when they saw that she was dead, and understood none other but the king was destroyed. Chapter 2. How the stepmother of Sir Tristram had ordained poison for to have poisoned Sir Tristram. Then certain of them would have slain the child, because they would have been lords of the country of Lyons. But then through the fair speech of the gentlewoman, and by the means that she made, the most part of the barons would not assent thereto. And then they let carry home the dead queen, and much dole was made for her. Then this meanwhile Merlin delivered King Meliodas out of prison on the morn after his queen was dead. And so when the king was come home, the most part of the barons made great joy. But the sorrow that the king made for his queen that might no tongue tell. So then the king let inter her richly, and after he let christen his child as his wife had commanded afore her death. And then he let call him Tristram, the sorrowful born child. Then the king Meliodas endured 7 years without a wife, and all this time Tristram was nourished well. Then it befell that King Meliodas wedded King Howell's daughter of Brittany, and anon she had children of King Meliodas. Then was she heavy and wroth that her children should not rejoice the country of Lyons, wherefore this queen ordained for to poison young Tristram. So she let poison be put in a piece of silver in the chamber whereas Tristram and her children were together, unto that intent that when Tristram were thirsty he should drink that drink. And so it fell upon a day, the queen's son, as he was in that chamber, espied the piece with poison, and he weened it had been good drink. And because the child was thirsty, he took the piece with poison and drank freely, and therewithal suddenly the child brast and was dead. When the queen of Meliodas was of the death of a son, wit ye well that she was heavy, but yet the king understood nothing of her treason. Notwithstanding, the queen would not leave this, but she let ordain more poison, and put it in a piece. And by fortune King Meliodas, her husband, found the piece with wine where was the poison, and he that was much thirsty took the piece for to drink thereout. And as he would have drunken thereof, the queen espied him, and then she ran unto him, and pulled the piece from him suddenly. The king marveled why she did so, and remembered him how his son was suddenly slain with poison. And then he took her by the hand, and said, Thou false traitress, thou shalt tell me what manner of drink this is, or else I shall slay thee. And therewith he pulled out his sword, and sware a great oath that he should slay her but if she told him truth. Ah, mercy, my lord, said she, and I shall tell you all. And then she told him why she would have slain Tristram, because her children should rejoice his land. Well, said King Meliodas, and therefore shall ye have the law. And so she was condemned by the assent of the barons to be burnt. And then was there made a great fire, and right as she was the fire to take her execution, young Tristram kneeled afore King Meliodas, and besought him to give him a boon. I will well, said the king again. Then said young Tristram, Give me the life of thy queen, my stepmother. That is unrightfully asked, said King Meliodas, for thou ought of right to hate her, for she would have slain thee with that poison, and she might have had her will. And for thy sake most is my cause that she should die. Sir, said Tristram, as for that, I beseech you of your mercy that you will forgive it her, and as for my part, God forgive it her, and I do, and so much it like your highness to grant me my boon. For God's love I require you hold your promise. Sit hen it is so, said the king, I will that ye have her life. Then, said the king, I give her to you, and go ye to the fire and take her, and do with her what ye will. So Sir Tristram went to the fire, and by the commandment of the king delivered her from the death. But after that King Meliodas would never have ado with her, as at bed and board. But by the good means of young Tristram he made the king and her accorded. But then the king would not suffer young Tristram to abide no longer in his court. Chapter 3. How Sir Tristram was sent into France, and had one to govern him named Gawain, and how he learned to harp, hawk, and hunt. And then he let ordain a gentleman that was well learned and taught. His name was Gawain. And then he sent young Tristram with Gawain into France to learn the language, and nurture, and deeds of arms. And there was Tristram more than 7 years. And then when he well could speak the language, and had learned all that he might learn in that country, then he came home to his father, King Meliodas, again. And so Tristram learned to be in harper passing all other, that there was none such called in no country. And so on harping and on instruments of music he applied him in his youth for to learn. And after, as he grew in might and strength, he laboured ever in hunting and in hawking, so that never gentleman more that ever we heard read of. And as the book saith, he began good measures of blowing of beasts of venery, and beasts of chase, and all manner of vermin, and all these terms we have yet of hawking and hunting. And therefore the book of venery, of hawking, and hunting, is called the book of Sir Tristram. Wherefore, as meseemeth, all gentlemen that bear old arms ought of right to honour Sir Tristram for the goodly terms that gentlemen have in use, and shall to the day of doom, that thereby in a manner all men of worship may dissever gentleman from a yeoman, and from a yeoman a villain. For he that gentle is will draw him unto gentle tatches, and to follow the customs of noble gentlemen. Thus Sir Tristram endured in Cornwall until he was big and strong, of the age of 18 years. And then the King Meliodas had great joy of Sir Tristram, and so had the queen, his wife. For ever after in her life, because Sir Tristram saved her from the fire, she did never hate him more after, but loved him ever after, and gave Tristram many great gifts. For every estate loved him, where that he went. Chapter 4. How Sir Marhaus came out of Ireland for to ask truage of Cornwall, or else he would fight therefore. Then it befell that King Anguish of Ireland sent unto King Mark of Cornwall for his truage, that Cornwall had paid many winters. And all that time King Mark was behind of the truage for 7 years. And King Mark and his barons gave unto the messenger of Ireland these words in answer, that they would none pay, and bade the messenger go unto his King Anguish, and tell him we will pay him no truage, but tell your lord, and he will always have truage of us of Cornwall, bid him send a trusty knight of his land, that will fight for his right, and we shall find another for to defend our right. With this answer the messengers departed into Ireland, And when King Anguish understood the answer of the messengers, he was wonderly wroth. And then he called unto him Sir Marhaus, the good knight, that was nobly proved, and a knight of the Table Round. And this Marhaus was brother unto the Queen of Ireland. Then the king said thus, Fair brother, Sir Marhaus, I pray you go into Cornwall for my sake, and do battle for our truage that of right we ought to have, and whatsoever ye spend ye shall have sufficiently, more than ye shall need. Sir, said Marhaus, wit ye well that I shall not be loath to do battle in the right of you in your land with the best knight of the Table Round, for I know them, for the most part, what be their deeds. And for to advance my deeds and to increase my worship, I will right gladly go unto this journey for our right. So in all haste there was made purveyance for Sir Marhaus, and he had all things that to him needed. And so he departed out of Ireland, and arrived up in Cornwall even fast by the castle of Tintagel. And when King Mark understood that he was there arrived to fight for Ireland, then made King Mark great sorrow when he understood that the good and noble knight Sir Marhaus was come. For they knew no knight that durst have ado with him. For at that time Sir Marhaus was called one of the famousest and renowned knights of the world. And thus Sir Marhaus abode in the sea, and every day he sent unto King Mark for to pay the truage that was behind of 7 year, other else to find a knight to fight with him for the truage. This manner of message Sir Marhaus sent daily unto King Mark. Then they of Cornwall let make cries in every place, that what knight would fight for to save a truage of Cornwall, he should be rewarded so that he should fare the better term of his life. Then some of the barons said to King Mark, and counselled him to send to the court of King Arthur, for to seek Sir Lancelot du Lake, that was at time named for the marvellous knight of all the world. Then there were some other barons that counselled the king not to do so, and said that it was labour in vain, because Sir Marhaus was a knight of the Round Table. Therefore any of them will be loath to have ado with other, but if it were any knight at his own request would fight disguised and unknown. So the king and all his barons assented that it was no boat to seek any knight of the Round Table. This meanwhile came the language and the noise unto King Meliodas, how that Sir Marhaus abode battle fast by Tintagel, and how King Mark could find no man a knight to fight for him. When young Tristram heard of this he was wroth, and sore ashamed that there durst no knight in Cornwall have ado with Sir Marhaus of Ireland. Chapter v. How Tristram enterprised the battle to fight for the truage of Cornwall, and how he was made knight. Therewithal Tristram went unto his father, King Meliodas, and asked him counsel what was best to do for to recover Cornwall from truage. For, as meseemeth, said Sir Tristram, it was shame that Sir Marhaus, the queen's brother of Ireland, should go away unless that he were foughten withal. As for that, said King Meliodas, wit you well, son Tristram, that Sir Marhaus is called one of the best knights of the world, and knight of the Table Round, and therefore I know no knight in this country that is able to match with him. Alas, said Sir Tristram, that I am not made knight, and if Sir Marhaus should thus depart into Ireland, God let me never have worship, and I were made knight I should match him. And sir, said Tristram, I pray you give me leave to ride to King Mark, and, so ye be not displeased, of King Mark will I be made knight. I will well, said King Meliodas, that ye be ruled as your courage will rule you. Then Sir Tristram thanked his father much, and then he made him ready to ride into Cornwall. In the meanwhile there came a messenger with letters of love from King Fermorn of France's daughter unto Sir Tristram. They were full piteous letters, and in them were written many complaints of love. But Sir Tristram had no joy of her letters nor regard unto her. Also she sent him a little brachet that was passing fair. But when the king's daughter understood that Sir Tristram would not love her, as the book saith, she died for sorrow. And then the same squire that brought the letter and the brachet came again unto Sir Tristram, as after ye shall hear in the tale. Ye say well, said the king, and if ye will do this battle I shall make you knight. Therefore I come to you, said Sir Tristram, and for none other cause. But then King Mark made him knight, and therewithal, anon as he had made him knight, he sent a messenger unto Sir Marhaus with letters that said that he had found a young knight ready for to take the battle to the uttermost. It may well be, said Sir Marhaus, but tell King Mark I will not fight with no knight but he be of blood royal, that is to say, other king's son, other queen's son, born of a prince or princess. When King Mark understood that, he sent for Sir Tristram de Lions, and told him what was the answer of Sir Marhaus. Then said Sir Tristram, Sithen that he saith so, let him wit that I am come of father's side and mother's side of as noble blood as he is. For, so, now shall ye know that I am King Meliodas' son, born of your own sister, Dame Elizabeth, that died in the forest in the birth of me. O Jesu, said King Mark, ye are welcome, fair nephew, to me. Then in all the haste the king let horse Sir Tristram, and armed him in the best manner that might be had or gotten for gold or silver. And then King Mark sent unto Sir Marhaus, and did him to wit that a better boreman than he was himself should fight with him, and his name is Sir Tristram de Lions, gotten of King Meliodas, and born of King Mark's sister. Then was Sir Marhaus glad and blithe that he should fight with such a gentleman. And so by the assent of King Mark and of Sir Marhaus they let ordain that they should fight within an island nigh Sir Marhaus' ships. And so was Sir Tristram put into a vessel both his horse and he, and all that to him longed both for his body and for his horse. Sir Tristram lacked nothing. And when King Mark and his barons of Cornwall beheld how young Sir Tristram departed with such a carriage to fight for the right of Cornwall, there was neither man nor woman of worship, but they wept to see and understand so young a knight to jeopardy himself for their right. Chapter 6. How Sir Tristram arrived into the island for to furnish the battle with Sir Marhaus. So to shorten this tale, when Sir Tristram was arrived within the island, he looked to the farther side, and there he saw at an anchor 6 ships nigh to the land, and under the shadow of the ships upon the land, there hoved a noble knight, Sir Marhaus of Ireland. Then Sir Tristram commanded his servant Gouvernail to bring his horse to the land, and dress his harness at all manner of rights. And then when he had so done, he mounted upon his horse, and when he was in his saddle well apparelled, and his shield dressed upon his shoulder, Tristram asked Gouvernail, Where is this knight that I shall have ado withal? Sir, said Gouvernail, see ye him not? I weened ye had seen him. Yonder he hoveth under the umber of his ships on horseback, with his spear in his hand, and his shield upon his shoulder. That is truth, said the noble knight, Sir Tristram. Now I see him well enough. Then he commanded his servant Gouvernail to go to his vessel again, and commend me unto mine enemy King Mark, and pray him, if that I be slain in this battle, for to inter my body as him seem best. And as for me, let him wit that I will never yield me for cowardice. And if I be slain and flee not, then they have lost no truage for me. And if so be that I flee or yield me as recreant, bid mine enemy never bury me in Christian burials. And upon thy life, said Sir Tristram to Gouvernail, come thou not nigh this island till that thou see me overcome or slain, or else that I win yonder night. So either departed from other sore weeping. Chapter 7. How Sir Tristram fought against Sir Marhaus and achieved his battle, and how Sir Marhaus fled to his ship. And then Sir Marhaus aved Sir Tristram, and said thus, Young knight, Sir Tristram, what dost thou here? Me sore repenteth of thy courage, for wit thou well I have been assayed, and the best knights of this land have been assayed at my hand. And also I have matched with the best knights of the world, and therefore by my counsel return again unto thy vessel. And fair knight, and well-proved knight, said Sir Tristram, thou shalt well would I may not forsake thee in this quarrel, for I am for thy sake made knight. And thou shalt well wit that I am a king's son born, and gotten upon a queen, and such promise I have made at my uncle's request and mine own seeking, that I shall fight with thee unto the uttermost, and deliver Cornwall from me old truage. And also wit thou well, Sir Marhaus, that this is the greatest cause that thou couragest me to have ado with thee, for thou art called one of the most renowned knights of the world, and because of that noise and fame that thou hast, thou givest me courage to have ado with thee, for never yet was I proved with good knight. And sithen I took the order of knighthood this day, I am well pleased that I may have ado with so good a knight as thou art. And now wit thou well, Sir Marhaus, that I cast me to get worship on thy body. And if that be not proved, I trust to God that I shall be worshipfully proved upon thy body, and to deliver the country of Cornwall for ever from all manner of truage from Ireland for ever. When Sir Marhaus had heard him say what he would, he said then thus again, Fair knight, sithen it is so that thou castest to win worship of me, I let thee wit worship may thou none lose by me if thou mayest stand me 3 strokes. For I let thee wit for my noble deeds, proved and seen. King Arthur made me knight of the Table Round. Then they began to feud of their spears, and they met so fiercely together that they smote either other down, both horse and all. But Sir Marhaus smote Sir Tristram a great wound in the side with his spear, and then they avoided their horses, and pulled out their swords, and threw their shields afore them. And then they lashed together as men that were wild and courageous. And when they had stricken so together long, then they left their strokes, and foined at their breasts and visors. And when they saw that that might not prevail them, then they hurtled together like rams to bear either other down. Thus they fought still more than half a day, and either were wounded passing sore, that the blood ran down freshly from upon the ground. By then Sir Tristram waxed more fresher than Sir Marhaus, and better winded and bigger. And with a mighty stroke he smote Sir Marhaus upon the helm such a buffet that it went through his helm, and through the coif of steel, and through the brain pan, and the sword stuck so fast in the helm and in his brain pan that Sir Tristram pulled fries at his sword, or ever he might pull it out from his head, and then Marhaus fell down on his knees, the edge of Tristram's sword left in his brain pan. And suddenly Sir Marhaus rose grovelling, and threw his sword and his shield from him, and so ran to his ships and fled his way, and Sir Tristram had ever his shield and his sword. And when Sir Tristram saw Sir Marhaus withdraw him, he said, Ah, Sir Knight of the Round Table, why withdrawest thou thee? Thou dost thyself and thy kin great shame, for I am but a young knight, or now I was never proved, and rather than I should withdraw me from thee, I had rather be hewn in 100 pieces. Sir Marhaus answered no word, but yede his way so groaning. Well, Sir Knight, said Sir Tristram, I promise thee thy sword and thy shield shall be mine, and thy shield shall I wear in all places where I ride on mine adventures, and in the sight of King Arthur and all the Round Table. Chapter 8. How Sir Marhaus, after that he was arrived in Ireland, died of the stroke that Sir Tristram had given him, and how Tristram was hurt. Anon Sir Marhaus and his fellowship departed into Ireland. And as soon as he came to the king, his brother, he let search his wounds. And when his head was searched, a piece of Sir Tristram's sword was found therein, and might never be had out of his head for no surgeons. And so he died of Sir Tristram's sword. And that piece of the sword the queen, his sister, kept it for ever with her, for she thought to be revenged and she might. Now turn we again unto Sir Tristram, that was sore wounded, and full so bled that he might not within a little while, when he had taken cold, unnet stir him of his limbs. And then he set him down softly upon a little hill, and bled fast. Then anon came Gawain, his man, with his vessel, and the king and his barons came with procession against him. And when he was come unto the land, King Mark took him in his arms, and the king and Sir Dinas, the seneschal, led Sir Tristram into the castle of Tintagel. And then was he searched in the best manner, and laid in his bed. And when King Mark saw his wounds, he wept heartily, and so did all his lords. So God me help, said King Mark, I would not for all my lands that my nephew died. So Sir Tristram lay there a month and more, and ever he was like to die of that stroke, that Sir Marhaus smote him first with the spear. For, as the French book saith, the spear's head was envenomed, that Sir Tristram might not be whole. Then was King Mark and all his barons passing heavy, for they deemed none other but that Sir Tristram should not recover. Then the king let send after all manner of leeches and surgeons, both unto men and women, and there was none that would behold him alive. Then came there a lady that was a right wise lady, and she said plainly unto King Mark, and to Sir Tristram, and to all his barons, that he should never be whole but if Sir Tristram went in the same country that the venom came from, and in that country should he be holpen, or else never. Thus said the lady unto the king. When King Mark understood that, he let purvey for Sir Tristram a fair vessel, well victualled, and therein was put Sir Tristram, and Gawain with him, and Sir Tristram took his harp with him, and so he was put into the sea to sail into Ireland. And so by good fortune he arrived up in Ireland, even fast by a castle where the king and the queen was, and at his arrival he sat and harped in his bed a merry lay. Such one heard they never none in Ireland before that time. And when it was told the king and the queen of such a knight that was such an harper, anon the king sent for him, and let search his wounds, and then ask him his name. Then he answered, I am of the country of lions, and my name is Tramtrist, that thus was wounded in a battle as I fought for a lady's right. So God me help, said King Anguish, ye shall have all the help in this land that ye may have here. But I let you wit, in Cornwall I had a great loss as ever had king, for there I lost the best knight of the world. His name was Marhaus, a full noble knight, and knight of the Table Round. And there he told Sir Tristram wherefore Sir Marhaus was slain. Sir Tristram made semblant as he had been sorry, and better knew he how it was than the king. Chapter 9. How Sir Tristram was put to the keeping of La Beale Isoud first for to be healed of his wound. Then the king for great favour made Tramtrist to be put in his daughter's ward and keeping, because she was a noble surgeon. And when she had searched him, she found in the bottom of his wound that therein was poison. And so she healed him within a while. And therefore Tramtris cast great love to La Beale Isoud, for she was at that time the fairest maid and lady of the world. And there Tramtris learned her to hop, and she began to have a great fantasy unto him. And at that time Sir Palomides, the Saracen, was in that country, and well cherished with the king and the queen. And every day Sir Palomides drew unto La Beale Isoud and proffered her many gifts, for he loved her passingly well. All that espied Tramtris, and full well knew he Sir Palomides for a noble knight and a mighty man. And wit you well Sir Tramtris had great despite at Sir Palomides, for La Beale Isoud told Tramtris that Palomides was in will to be christened for her sake. Thus was there great envy betwixt Tramtris and Sir Palomides. Then it befell that King Anguish let cry a great joust and a great tournament for a lady that was called the Lady of the Lawns, and she was nigh cousin unto the king. And what man won her? 3 days after he should wed her and have all her lands. This cry was made in England, Wales, Scotland, and also in France and in Brittany. It befell upon a day La Beale Isoud came unto Sir Tramtris, and told him of this tournament. He answered and said, Fair lady, I am but a feeble knight, and but late I had been dead had not your good ladyship been. Now, fair lady, what would ye I should do in this matter? Well ye what, my lady, that I may not joust. Ah, Tramtris, said La Beale Isoud, why will ye not have ado at that tournament? Well I what Sir Palomides shall be there, and to do what he may. And therefore Tramtris, I pray you for to be there, for else Sir Palomides is like to win the degree. Madam, said Tramtris, as for that, it may be so, for he is a proved knight, and I am but a young knight and late made, and the first battle that I did it mishapped me to be so wounded as ye see. But an I wist ye would be my better lady, at that tournament I will be, so that ye will keep my counsel and let no creature have knowledge that I shall joust but yourself, and such as ye will to keep your counsel, my poor person shall I jeopard there for your sake, that, peradventure, Sir Palomides shall know when that I come. Thee too, said La Beale Isoud, do your best, and as I can, said La Beale Isoud, I shall purvey horse and armour for you at my device. As ye will so be it, said Sir Tramtris, I will be at your commandment. So at the day of joust there came Sir Palomides with a black shield, and he overthrew many knights, that all the people had marvel of him. For he put to the worse Sir Gawain, Gaeris, Agravain, Bagdemagus, Kay, Dodinus le Savage, Sagramo le Desirous, Gumret le Petit, and Gryphel le Fies de Diu. All these the first day Sir Palomides struck down to the earth. And then all manner of knights were adread of Sir Palomides, and many called him the knight with the black shield. So that day Sir Palomides had great worship. Then came King Anguish unto Tramtris, and asked him why he would not joust. Sir, he said, I was but late hurt, and as yet I dare not adventure me. Then came there the same squire that was sent from a king's daughter of France unto Sir Tristram. And when he had espied Sir Tristram, he fell flat to his feet. All that espied La Beale Isoud, what courtesy the squire made unto Sir Tristram. And withal suddenly Sir Tristram ran unto his squire, whose name was Hebes le Renoumes, and prayed him heartily in no wise to tell his name. Sir, said Hebes, I will not discover your name, but if ye command me. Chapter X. How Sir Tristram won the degree at a tournament in Ireland, and there made Palomides to bear no more harness in a year. Then Sir Tristram asked him what he did in those countries. Sir, he said, I came hither with Sir Gawain for to be made knight, and if it please you, of your hands that I may be made knight. Await upon me is to mourn secretly, and in the field I shall make you a knight. Then had La Beale Isoud great suspicion unto Tramtris, that he was some man of worship proved, and therewith she comforted herself, and cast more love unto him than she had done tofore. And so on the morn Sir Palomides made him ready to come into the field, as he did the first day. And there he smote down the king with the 100 knights, and the king of Scots. Then had La Beale Isoud ordained, and well arrayed Sir Tristram in white horse and harness. And right, so she let put him out at a privy posson, and so he came into the field as it had been a bright angel. And anon Sir Palomides espied him, and therewith he fewted a spear unto Sir Tramtris, and he again unto him. And there Sir Tristram smote down Sir Palomides unto the earth. And then there was a great noise of people. Some said Sir Palomides had a fall. Some said the knight with the black shield had a fall. And wit you well our Beal Isoud was passing glad. And then Sir Gawain and his fellows 9 had marvelled what knight it might be that had smitten down Sir Palomides. Then would there none joust with Tramtris, but all that there were forsook him most and least. Then Sir Tristram made Hebes a knight, and caused him to put himself forth, and did right well that day. So after Sir Hebes held him with Sir Tristram. And when Sir Palomides had received his fall, wit ye well that he was so ashamed, and as privily as he might he withdrew him out of the field. All that espied Sir Tristram, and lightly he rode after Sir Palomides and overtook him, and bade him turn, for better he would assay him or ever he departed. Then Sir Palomides turned him, and either lashed at other with their swords. But at the first stroke Sir Tristram smote down Palomides, and gave him such a stroke upon the head that he fell to the earth. So then Tristram bade yield him, and do his commandment, or else he would slay him. When Sir Palomides beheld his countenance, he dread his buffet so, that he granted all his askings. Well said, said Sir Tristram, this shall be your charge. First, upon pain of your life that ye forsake my lady La Beal Isoud, and in no manner wise that ye draw not to her. Also this 12-month and a day that ye bear none armour nor none harness of war. Now promise me this, or here shalt thou die. Alas, said Palomides, for ever am I ashamed. Then he sware as Sir Tristram had commanded him. Then for despite and anger Sir Palomides cut off his harness, and threw them away. And so Sir Tristram turned again to the castle where was La Beal Isoud, and by the way he met with a damosel that asked after Sir Lancelot, that won the dolorous guard worshipfully. And this damosel asked Sir Tristram what he was. For it was told her that it was he that smote down Sir Palomides, by whom the 10 knights of King Arthur's were smitten down. Then the damos prayed Sir Tristram to tell her what he was, and whether that he was Sir Lancelot du Lake, for she deemed that there was no knight in the world might do such deeds of arms, but if it were Lancelot. Fair damosel, said Sir Tristram, wit ye well that I am not Sir Lancelot, for I was never of such prowess, but in God is all that he may make me as good a knight as the good knight Sir Lancelot. Now, gentle knight, said she, put up thy visor, and when she beheld his visage, she thought she saw never better man's visage, nor a better faring knight. And then when the damosel knew certainly that he was not Sir Lancelot, then she took her leave, and departed from him. And then Sir Tristram rode privily unto the postern, where kept him La Beal Isoud, and there she made him good cheer, and thanked God of his good speed. So anon, within a while the king and the queen understood that it was Tramtris that smote down Sir Palomides. Then was he much made of, more than he was before. Chapter 11. How the queen espied that Sir Tristram had slain her brother Sir Marhaus by his sword, and in what jeopardy he was. Thus was Sir Tramtris long there well cherished with the king and the queen, and namely with La Beal Isoud. So upon a day the queen and La Beal Isoud made a bane for Sir Tramtris. And when he was in his bane, the queen and Isoud, her daughter, roamed up and down in the chamber. And therewhiles Gouvernail and Hebes attended upon Tramtris, and the queen beheld his sword there as it lay upon his bed. And then by unapt the queen drew out his sword and beheld it a long while, and both they thought it a passing fair sword. But within a foot and a half of the point there was a great piece thereof outbroken of the edge. And when the queen espied that gap in the sword, she remembered her of a piece of a sword that was found in the brain pan of Sir Marhaus, the good knight that was her brother. Alas then, said she unto her daughter, La Beal Isoud, this is the same traitor knight that slew my brother, thine me. When Isoud heard her say so, she was passing sore abashed, for passing well she loved Tramtris, and full well she knew the cruelness of her mother the queen. Anon therewithal the queen went unto her own chamber, and sought her coffer, and there she took out the piece of the sword that was pulled out of Sir Marhaus' head after that he was dead. And then she ran with that piece of iron to the sword that lay upon the bed. And when she put that piece of steel and iron unto the sword, it was as meet as it might be when it was new broken. And then the queen gripped that sword in her hand fiercely, and with all her might she ran straight upon Tramtris where he sat in his bane, and there she had rived him through had not Sir Hebes gotten her in his arms, and pulled the sword from her, and else she had thrust him through. Then when she was led her evil, will she ran to the King Anguish, her husband, and said on her knees, O my lord, here have ye in your house the traitor knight that slew my brother and your servant, that noble knight, Sir Marhaus. Who is that? Said King Anguish, and where is he? So, She said, "It is Sir Tramtris, the same knight that my daughter healed." "Alas," said the king, "therefore am I right heavy, for he is a full noble knight as ever I saw in field. But I charge you," said the king to the queen, "that ye have not ado with that knight, but let me deal with him." Then the king went into the chamber unto Sir Tramtris, and then was he gone unto his chamber. And the king found him already armed to mount upon his horse. When the king saw him already armed to go unto horseback, the king said, "Nay, Tramtris, it will not avail to compare thee against me, but thus much I shall do for my worship and for thy love. In so much as thou art within my court, it were no worship for me to slay thee. Therefore upon this condition I will give thee leave for to depart from this court in safety. So thou wilt tell me who was thy father, and what is thy name, and if thou slewest of my house, my brother." Chapter 12. How Sir Tristram departed from the king and La Beale Isoud out of Ireland for to come into Cornwall. "Sir," said Tristram, "now I shall tell you all the truth. My father's name is Sir Meliodas, king of Lions, and my mother hight Elizabeth, that was sister unto King Mark of Cornwall. And my mother died of me in the forest, and because thereof she commanded, or she died, that when I were christened they should christen me Tristram. And because I would not be known in this country, I turned my name and let me call Tramtris. And for the truage of Cornwall I fought for my EME's sake, and for the right of Cornwall that ye had posseed many years. And wit ye well," said Tristram unto the king, "I did the battle for the love of mine uncle, King Mark, and for the love of the country of Cornwall, and for to increase mine honour. For that same day that I fought with Sir Miles, I was made knight, and never then did I battle with no knight, and from me went alive, and left his shield and his sword behind. So God me help," said the king, "I may not say but ye did as a knight should, and it was your part to do for your quarrel, and to increase your worship as a knight should. Howbeit I may not maintain you in this country with my worship, unless that I should displease my barons, and my wife and her kin." "Sir," said Tristram, "I thank you of your good lordship that I have had with you here, and the great goodness my lady, your daughter, showed me, and therefore," said Sir Tristram, "it may so happen that ye shall win more by my life than by my death. For in the parts of England it may happen I may do you service at some season, that ye shall be glad that ever ye showed me your good lordship. With more I promise you as I am true knight, that in all places I shall be my lady your daughter's servant and knight in right and in wrong, and I shall never fail her, to do as much as a knight may do. Also I beseech your good grace that I may take my leave of my lady, your daughter, and at all the barons and knights." "I will well," said the king. Then Sir Tristram went unto La Beale Isoud, and took his leave of her. And then he told her all, what he was, and how he had changed his name because he would not be known, and how a lady told him that he should never behold till he came into this country where the poison was made, wherethrough I was near my death had not your ladyship been. "O gentle knight," said La Beale Isoud, "full woe am I of thy departing, for I saw never man that I owed so good will to." And therewithal she wept heartily. "Madam," said Sir Tristram, "ye shall understand that my name is Sir Tristram de Lions, gotten of King Meliodas, and born of his queen. And I promise you faithfully that I shall be all the days of my life your knight." "Gramercy," said La Beale Isoud, "and I promise you there against that I shall not be married this 7 years but by your assent. And to whom that ye will I shall be married, to him will I have, and he will have me if ye will consent." And then Sir Tristram gave her a ring, and she gave him another, and therewith he departed from her, leaving her making great dole and lamentation. And he straight went unto the court among all the barons, and there he took his leave at most and least, and openly he said among them all, "Fair lords, now it is so that I must depart. If there be any man here that I have offended unto, or that any man be with me grieved, let complain him here afore me, or that ever I depart, and I shall amend it unto my power. And if there be any that will proffer me wrong, or say of me wrong or shame behind my back, say it now or never, and here is my body to make it good, body against body." And all they stood still. There was not one that would say one word. Yet were there some knights that were of the queen's blood, and of Sir Mal's blood, but they would not meddle with him. Chapter 13. How Sir Tristram and King Mark hurted each other for the love of a knight's wife. So Sir Tristram departed, and took the sea, and with good wind he arrived up at Tintagel in Cornwall. And when King Mark was whole in his prosperity, there came tidings that Sir Tristram was arrived, and whole of his wounds. Thereof was King Mark passing glad, and so were all the barons. And when he saw his time, he rode unto his father, King Meliodas, and they had all the cheer that the king and the queen could make him. And then largely King Meliodas and his queen departed of their lands and goods to Sir Tristram. Then by the license of King Meliodas, his father, he returned again unto the court of King Mark, and there he lived in great joy long time, until at the last there befell a jealousy and an unkindness betwixt King Mark and Sir Tristram, for they loved both one lady. And she was an earl's wife that hight Sir Segwarides. And this lady loved Sir Tristram passingly well. And he loved her again, for she was a passing fair lady, and that espied Sir Tristram well. Then King Mark understood that, and was jealous, for King Mark loved her passingly well. So it fell upon a day this lady sent a dwarf unto Sir Tristram, and bade him, as he loved her, that he would be with her the night next following. Also she charged you that ye come not to her but if ye be well armed, for her lover was called a good knight. Sir Tristram answered to the dwarf, Recommend me unto my lady, and tell her I will not fail, but I will be with her the term that she has set me. And with this answer the dwarf departed. And King Mark espied that the dwarf was with Sir Tristram upon message from Segwarides' wife. Then King Mark sent for the dwarf, and when he was come he made the dwarf by force to tell him all, why and wherefore that he came on message from Sir Tristram. Now, said King Mark, go where thou wilt, and upon pain of death that thou say no word that thou spakest with me. So the dwarf departed from the king. And that same night that the Stephen was set betwixt Segwarides' wife and Sir Tristram, King Mark armed him, and made him ready, and took 2 knights of his council with him. And so he rode afore for to abide by the way for to wait upon Sir Tristram. And as Sir Tristram came riding upon his way with his spear in his hand, King Mark came hurtling upon him with his 2 knights suddenly. And all 3 smote him with their spears, and King Mark hurt Sir Tristram on the breast right sore. And then Sir Tristram feuded his spear, and smote his uncle, King Mark, so sore that he rashed him to the earth, and bruised him that he lay still in a swoon, and long it was or ever he might wield himself. And then he ran to the one knight, and after the other, and smote them to the cold earth, that they lay still. And therewithal Sir Tristram rode forth so wounded to the lady, and found her abiding him at a postern. Chapter 14. How Sir Tristram lay with the lady, and how her husband fought with Sir Tristram. And there she welcomed him fair, and either housed other in arms, and so she let put up his horse in the best wise, and then she unarmed him. And so they supped lightly, and went to bed with great joy and pleasance, and so in his raging he took no keep of his green wound that King Mark had given him. And so Sir Tristram bebled both the oversheet and the nether, and pillows, and headsheet. And within a while there came one afore, that warned her that her lord was near hand within a bow draught. So she made Sir Tristram to arise, and so he armed him, and took his horse, and so departed. By then was come Segwarides, her lord, and when he found her bed troubled and broken, and went near beheld her by candlelight, then he saw that there had lain a wounded knight. Ah, false traitress! Then he said, Why hast thou betrayed me? And therewithal he swang out a sword, and said, But if thou tell me who hath been here, here thou shalt die. Ah, my lord, mercy, said the lady, and held up her hands, saying, Slay me not, and I shall tell you all who hath been here. Tell anon, said Segwarides, to me all the truth. Anon for dread, she said, Here was Sir Tristram with me, and by the way as he came to me ward, he was sore wounded. Ah, false traitress, said Segwarides, where is he become? Sir, she said, he is armed, and departed on horseback, not yet hence 1/2 mile. Ye say well, said Segwarides. Then he armed him lightly, and get his horse, and rode after Sir Tristram that rode straightway unto Tintagel. And within a while he overtook Sir Tristram, and then he bade him, Turn, false traitor knight. And Sir Tristram anon turned him against him. And therewithal Segwarides smote Sir Tristram with a spear that it all to brast, and then he swang out his sword and smote fast at Sir Tristram. Sir knight, said Sir Tristram, I counsel you that ye smite no more. Howbeit for the wrongs that I have done you I will forbear you as long as I may. Nay, said Segwarides, that shall not be, for either thou shalt die or I. Then Sir Tristram drew out his sword, and hurtled his horse unto him fiercely, and through the waist of the body he smote Sir Segwarides that he fell to the earth in a swoon. And so Sir Tristram departed and left him there. And so he rode unto Tintagel and took his lodging secretly, for he would not be known that he was hurt. Also Sir Segwaride's men rode after their master, whom they found lying in the field so wounded, and brought him home on his shield. And there he lay long or that he were whole, but at the last he recovered. Also King Mark would not be known of that Sir Tristram and he had met that night. And as for Sir Tristram, he knew not that King Mark had met with him. And so the king askance came to Sir Tristram, to comfort him as he lay sick in his bed. But as long as King Mark lived, he loved never Sir Tristram after that. Though there was fair speech, love was there none. And thus it passed many weeks and days, and all was forgiven and forgotten. For Sir Segwarides durst not have ado with Sir Tristram, because of his noble prowess, and also because he was nephew unto King Mark. Therefore he let it overslip. For he that the privy heard is loath to have a shame outward. Chapter 15. How Sir Bleoberis demanded the fairest lady in King Mark's court, whom he took away, and how he was fought with. Then it befell upon a day that the good knight Bleoberis de Gonys, brother to Blamor de Gonys, and nigh cousin unto the good knight Sir Lancelot du Lake, this Bleoberis came unto the court of King Mark, and they asked of King Mark a boon, to give him what gift that he would ask in his court. When the king heard him ask so, he marvelled of his asking. But because he was a knight of the Round Table, and of a great renown, King Mark granted him his whole asking. Then, said Sir Bleoberis, I will have the fairest lady in your court that me list to choose. I may not say nay, said King Mark, now choose at your adventure. And so Sir Bleoberis did choose Sir Segwaride's wife, and took her by the hand, and so went his way with her. And so he took his horse and got setter behind his squire, and rode upon his way. When Sir Segwarides heard tell that his lady was gone with a knight of King Arthur's court, then he armed him and rode after that knight for to rescue his lady. So when Bleoberis was gone with this lady, King Mark and all the court was wroth that she was away. Then were there certain ladies that knew that there were great love between Sir Tristram and her, and also that lady loved Sir Tristram above all other knights. Then there was one lady that rebuked Sir Tristram in the horriblest wise, and called him coward knight, that he would for shame of his knighthood see a lady so shamefully be taken away from his uncle's court. But she meant that either of them had loved other with entire heart. But Sir Tristram answered her thus, Fair lady, it is not my part to have ado in such matters while a lord and husband is present here, and if it had been that a lord had not been here in this court, then for the worship of this court peradventure I would have been a champion. And if so be Sir Segwarides speed not well, it may happen that I will speak with that good knight, or ever he pass from this country. Then within a while came one of Sir Segwarides' squires, and told in the court that Sir Segwarides was beaten sore and wounded to the point of death. As he would have rescued his lady, Sir Bleoberis overthrew him, and soreth wounded him. Then was King Mark heavy thereof, and all the court. When Sir Tristram heard of this, he was ashamed and sore grieved. And then was he soon armed and on horseback, and Gouvernail, his servant, bare his shield and spear. And so as Sir Tristram rode fast, he met with Sir Andrade his cousin, that by the commandment of King Mark was sent to bring forth, and ever it lay in his power, 2 knights of Arthur's court, that rode by the country to seek their adventures. Chapter 16. How Sir Tristram fought with 2 knights of the Round Table. Then within a while Sir Tristram saw them afore him, 2 likely knights. Sir, said Gouvernail unto his master, Sir, I would counsel you not to have ado with them, for they be 2 proved knights of Arthur's court. As for that, said Sir Tristram, have ye no doubt but I will have ado with them to increase my worship, for it is many days sithen I did any deeds of arms. Do as ye list, said Gouvernail. And therewithal anon Sir Tristram asked them from whence they came, and whither they would, and what they did in those marches. Sir Sagramore looked upon Sir Tristram, and had scorn of his words, and asked him again, Fair knight, be ye a knight of Cornwall? Whereby ask ye it? Said Sir Tristram. For it is seldom seen, said Sir Sagramore, that ye Cornish knights be valiant men of arms. For within these 2 hours there met us one of your Cornish knights, and great word he spake, and anon with little might he was laid to the earth. And, as I trow, said Sir Sagramore, ye shall have the same hansel that he had. Fair lords, said Sir Tristram, it may so happen that I may better withstand than he did, and whether ye will or nill I will have ado with you, because he was my cousin that ye beat. And therefore here do your best, and wit ye well, but if ye quit you the better here upon this ground, 1 knight of Cornwall shall beat you both. When Sir Dodinas le Savage heard him say so, he get a spear in his hand, and said, Sir Knight, keep well thyself. And then they departed and came together as it had been thunder. And Sir Dodinas spear brass in sunder, but Sir Tristram smote him with a more might, that he smote him clean over the horse croup, that nigh he had broken his neck. When Sir Sagramore saw his fellow have such a fall, he marvelled what knight he might be. And he dressed his spear with all his might, and Sir Tristram against him, and they came together as a thunder. And there Sir Tristram smote Sir Sagramore a strong buffet, that he bare his horse and him to the earth, and in the falling he brake his thigh. Ye charge me with a great thing, said Sir Tristram, and sit hen ye list of it. Ye shall know and understand that my name is Sir Tristram de Lyons, King Meliodas' son, and nephew unto King Mark. Then were they two knights fain that they had met with Tristram, and so they prayed him to abide in their fellowship. Nay, said Sir Tristram, for I must have ado with one of your fellows. His name is Sir Bleoberis de Gonys. God speed you well, said Sir Sagramore and Dodinas. Sir Tristram departed and rode onward on his way. And then was he where before him in a valley where rode Sir Bleoberis, with Sir Segwaride's lady, that rode behind his squire upon a palfrey. Chapter 17. How Sir Tristram fought with Sir Bleoberis for a lady, and how the lady was put to choice to whom she would go. Then Sir Tristram rode more than a pace until that he had overtaken him. Then spake Sir Tristram, Abide, he said, Knight of Arthur's court, bring again that lady, or deliver her to me. I will do neither, said Bleoberis, for I dread no Cornish knight so sore that me list to deliver her. Why, said Sir Tristram, may not a Cornish knight do as well as another knight? This same day 2 knights of your court within this 3 mile met with me, and or ever were departed they found a Cornish knight good enough for them both. What were their names? Said Bleoberis. They told me, said Sir Tristram, that the one of them hight Sir Sagramore le Desirous, and the other hight Dodinas le Savage. Ah, said Sir Bleoberis, have ye met with them? So God me help. There were 2 good knights and men of great worship, and if ye have beat them both, ye must needs be a good knight. But if it so be ye have beat them both, yet shall ye not fear me, but ye shall beat me or ever ye have this lady. Then defend you, said Sir Tristram. So they departed and came together like thunder, and either bare other down, horse and all, to the earth. Then they avoided their horses, and lashed together eagerly with swords, and mightily, now tracing and traversing on the right hand and on the left hand more than 2 hours. And sometime they rushed together with such a might that they lay both grovelling on the ground. Then Sir Bleoberis de Gonys stood aback, and said thus, Now, gentle good knight, a while hold your hands, and let us speak together. Say what ye will, said Tristram, and I will answer you. Sir, said Bleoberis, I would wit of whence ye be, and of whom ye be come, and what is your name. So God me help, said Sir Tristram, I fear not to tell you my name. Wit ye well I am King Meliodas' son, and my mother is King Mark's sister, and my name is Sir Tristram de Lyons, and King Mark is mine uncle. Truly, said Bleoberis, I am right glad of you, for ye that slew Marhaus the knight, hand for hand in an island, for the truage of Cornwall. Also ye overcame Sir Palomides a good knight, at a tournament in an island, where he beat Sir Gawain and his 9 fellows. So God me help, said Sir Tristram, wit ye well that I am the same knight. Now I have told you my name, tell me yours with good will. Wit ye well that my name is Sir Bleoberis de Gonys, and my brother hight Sir Blamore de Gonys, that is called a good knight, and we be sisters' children unto my lord Sir Lancelot du Lake, that we call one of the best knights of the world. That is truth, said Sir Tristram. Sir Lancelot is called peerless of courtesy and of knighthood, and for his sake, said Sir Tristram, I will not with my good will fight no more with you, for the great love I have to Sir Lancelot du Lake. In good faith, said Bleoberis, as for me I will be loath to fight with you, but sit hen ye follow me here to have this lady. I shall proffer you kindness, courtesy, and gentleness right here upon this ground. This lady shall be betwixt us both, and to whom that she will go, let him have her in peace. I will well, said Tristram, for, as I deem, she will leave you and come to me. Ye shall prove it anon, said Bleoberis. Chapter 18. How the lady forsook Sir Tristram and abode with Sir Bleoberis, and how she desired to go to her husband. So when she was set betwixt them both, she said these words unto Sir Tristram, wit ye well, Sir Tristram de Lions, that but late thou wast the man in the world I most loved and trusted, and I ween thou hadst loved me again above all ladies. But when thou sawest this knight lead me away, thou madest no cheer to rescue me, but suffered my lord Segwarides ride after me. But until that time I ween thou hadst loved me, and therefore now I will leave thee, and never love thee more. And therewithal she went unto Sir Bleoberis. When Sir Tristram saw her do so, he was wonderly wroth with that lady, and ashamed to come to the court. Sir Tristram, said Sir Bleoberis, ye are in the default. For I hear by this lady's words ye before this day trusted you above all earthly knights, and, as she saith, ye have deceived her. Therefore wit ye well, there may no man hold that will away, and rather than ye should be heartily displeased with me, I would ye had her, and she would abide with you. Nay, said the lady, so God me help, I will never go with him. For he that I loved most I weened he had loved me. And therefore, Sir Tristram, she said, ride as thou came, for though thou hadst overcome this knight, as he was likely, with thee never would I have gone. And I shall pray this knight so fair of his knighthood, that or ever he pass this country, that he will lead me to the abbey where my lord Sir Segwarides lieth. So God me help, said Bleoberis, I let you wit. Good night, Sir Tristram, because King Mark gave me the choice of a gift in this court, and so this lady liked me best. Notwithstanding, she is wedded unto the Lord, and I have fulfilled my quest. She shall be sent unto her husband again, and in especial most for your sake, Sir Tristram. And if she would go with you, I would ye had her. I thank you, said Sir Tristram, but for her love I shall beware what men or lady I shall love or trust. For had a lord, Sir Segwarides, been away from a court, I should have been the first that should have followed you. But sit hen that ye have refused me, as I am true knight I shall her know passingly well that I shall love or trust. And so they took their leave one from the other and departed. And so Sir Tristram rode unto Tintagil, and Sir Bleoberis rode unto the abbey where Sir Segwarides lay so wounded, and they delivered his lady, and departed as a noble knight. And when Sir Segwarides saw his lady, he was greatly comforted. And then she told him that Sir Tristram had done great battle with Sir Bleoberis, and caused him to bring her again. These words pleased Sir Segwarides right well, that Sir Tristram would do so much. And so that lady told all the battle unto King Mark betwixt Sir Tristram and Sir Bleoberis. Chapter 19, to how King Mark sent Sir Tristram for La Beale Isaud toward Ireland, and how by fortune he arrived into England. Then when this was done, King Mark cast always in his heart how he might destroy Sir Tristram. And then he imagined in himself to send Sir Tristram into Ireland for La Beale Isaud. For Sir Tristram had so praised her beauty and her goodness that King Mark said that he would wed her, whereupon he prayed Sir Tristram to take his way into Ireland for him on message. And all this was done to the intent to slay Sir Tristram. Notwithstanding, Sir Tristram would not refuse a message for no danger nor peril that might fall, for the pleasure of his uncle, but to go he made him ready in the most goodliest wise that might be devised. For Sir Tristram took with him the most goodliest knights that he might find in the court, and they were arrayed, after the guise that was then used, in the goodliest manner. So Sir Tristram departed, and took the sea with all his fellowship. And anon, as he was in the Broads, a tempest took him and his fellowship, and drove them back into the coast of England. And there they arrived fast by Camelot, and full fain they were to take the land. And when they were landed, Sir Tristram set up his pavilion upon the land of Camelot, and there he let hang his shield upon the pavilion. And that same day came two knights of King Arthur's, that one was Sir Ector de Maris and Sir Morgana. And they touched the shield, and bade him come out of a pavilion for to joust, and he would joust. Ye shall be answered, said Sir Tristram, and ye will tarry a little while. So he made him ready, and first he smote down Sir Ector de Maris, and after he smote down Sir Morgana, all with one spear, and sore bruised them. And when they lay upon the earth, they asked Sir Tristram what he was, and of what country he was knight. Fair lords, said Sir Tristram, wit ye well that I am of Cornwall. Alas, said Sir Ector, now am I ashamed that ever any Cornish knight should overcome me. And then for despite, Sir Ector put off his armour from him, and went on foot, and would not ride. Chapter XX, how King Anguish of Ireland was summoned to come to King Arthur's court for treason. Then it fell that Sir Bleoberis and Sir Blamor de Gonys, that were brethren, they had summoned the King Anguish of Ireland for to come to Arthur's court upon pain of forfeiture of King Arthur's good grace. And if the King of Ireland came not in, at the day assigned and set, the king should lose his lands. So it happened that the day assigned, King Arthur neither Sir Lancelot might not be there for to give the judgment. For King Arthur was with Sir Lancelot at the castle Joyous Gard. And so King Arthur assigned King Carados and the King of Scots to be there that day as judges. So when the kings were at Camelot, King Anguish of Ireland was come to know his accusers. Then was there Sir Blamore de Gannis, and appealed the King of Ireland of treason, that he had slain a cousin of his in his court in Ireland by treason. The king was so abashed of his accusation, for why he was come at the summons of King Arthur, and or he came at Camelot he wist not wherefore he was sent after. And when the king heard Sir Blamore say his will, he understood well there was none other remedy but for to answer him knightly. For the custom was such in those days, that in any man were appealed of any treason or murder he should fight body for body, or else to find another knight for him. And all manner of murders in those days were called treason. So when King Anguish understood his accusing, he was passing heavy, for he knew Sir Blamore de Gannis that he was a noble knight, and of noble knights come. Then the King of Ireland was simply purveyed of his answer, therefore the judges gave him respite by the third day to give his answer. So the king departed unto his lodging. The meanwhile there came a lady by Sir Tristram's pavilion making great dole. What aileth you, said Sir Tristram, that ye make such dole? Ah, fair knight, said the lady, I am ashamed unless that some good knight help me. For a great lady of worship sent by me a fair child and a rich unto Sir Lancelot du Lake, and hereby there met with me a knight, and threw me down from my palfrey, and took away the child from me. Well, my lady, said Sir Tristram, and for my lord Sir Lancelot's sake I shall get you that child again, or else I shall be beaten for it. And so Sir Tristram took his horse, and asked the lady which way the knight rode, and then she told him. And he rode after him, and within a while he overtook that knight. And then Sir Tristram bade him turn and give again the child. Chapter XXI. How Sir Tristram rescued a child from a knight, and how Gouvernail told him of King Anguish. The knight turned his horse and made him ready to fight. And then Sir Tristram smote him with a sword such a buffet that he tumbled to the earth. And then he yielded him unto Sir Tristram. Then come thy way, said Sir Tristram, and bring the child to the lady again. So he took his horse meekly and rode with Sir Tristram. And then by the way Sir Tristram asked him his name. Then he said, My name is Bruce Onspite. So when he had delivered that child to the lady, he said, So, as in this the child is well remedied. Then Sir Tristram let him go again, that so repented him after, for he was a great foe unto many good knights of King Arthur's court. Then when Sir Tristram was in his pavilion, Gouvernail, his man, came and told him how that King Anguish of Ireland was come thither, and he was put in great distress. And there Gouvernail told Sir Tristram how King Anguish was summoned and appealed of murder. So God me help, said Sir Tristram, these be the best tidings that ever came to me this 7 years, for now shall the King of Ireland have need of my help. For I dare say there is no knight in this country that is not of Arthur's court dare do battle with Sir Blamore de Gannis, and for to win the love of the King of Ireland I will take the battle upon me, and therefore Gouvernail bring me, I charge thee, to the king. Then Gouvernail went unto King Anguish of Ireland, and saluted him fair. The king welcomed him and asked him what he would. Say, said Gouvernail, here is a knight near hand that desireth to speak with you. He bade me say he would do you service. What knight is he? Said the king. Sir, said he, it is Sir Tristram de Lyons, that for your good grace that ye showed him in your lands will reward you in this country. Come on, fellow, said the king, with me anon and show me unto Sir Tristram. So the king took a little hackney and but few fellowship with him, until he came unto Sir Tristram's pavilion. And when Sir Tristram saw the king, he ran unto him and would have holden his stirrup. But the king leapt from his horse lightly, and either housed other in their arms. My gracious lord, said Sir Tristram, gramercy of your great goodnesses showed unto me in your marches and lands, and at that time I promised you to do you service and ever it lay in my power. And, gentle knight, said the king unto Sir Tristram, now have I great need of you. Never had I so great need of no knight's help. How so, my good lord? Said Sir Tristram. I shall tell you, said the king. I am summoned and appeal from my country for the death of a knight that was kin unto the good knight Sir Lancelot. Wherefore Sir Blamore de Gannis, brother to Sir Bleoberis, hath appealed me to fight with him out to find a knight in my stead. And well I wot, said the king, these that are come of King Ban's blood, as Sir Lancelot and these other are passing good knights, and hard men for to win in battle as any that I know now living. Sir, said Sir Tristram, for the good lordship ye showed me in Ireland, and for my lady your daughter's sake, La Beal Isaud, I will take the battle for you upon the condition that ye shall grant me two things. That one is that ye shall swear to me that ye are in the right, that ye were never consenting to the knight's death. Sir, then said Sir Tristram, when that I have done this battle, if God give me grace that I speed, that ye shall give me a reward, what thing reasonable that I will ask of you? So God me help, said the king, ye shall have whatsoever ye will ask. It is well said, said Sir Tristram. Chapter XXII. How Sir Tristram fought for Sir Anguish and overcame his adversary, and how his adversary would never yield him. Now make your answer that your champion is ready, for I shall die in your quarrel rather than to be recreant. I have no doubt of you, said the king, that an ye should have ado with Sir Lancelot du Lake. Sir, said Sir Tristram, as for Sir Lancelot, he is called the noblest knight of the world, and wit ye well that the knights of his blood are noble men, and dread shame. And as for Bleoberis, brother unto Sir Blamor, I have done battle with him. Therefore upon my head it is no shame to call him a good knight. It is noised, said the king, that Blamor is the hardier knight. Sir, as for that let him be. He shall never be refused, and as he were the best knight that now beareth shield or spear. So King Anguish departed unto King Carados and the kings that were that time his judges, and told them that he had found his champion ready. Then by the commandment of the king Sir Blamor de Gannis and Sir Tristram were sent for to hear the charge. And when they were come before the judges, there were many kings and knights beheld Sir Tristram, and much speech they had of him because that he slew Sir Marhaus, the good knight, and because he forjousted Sir Palomides the good knight. So when they had taken their charge, they withdrew them to make them ready to do battle. Then said Sir Bleoberis unto his brother, Sir Blamor, fair dear brother, remember of what kin we become of, and what a man is Sir Lancelot du Lake, neither father nor nearer but brother's children, and there was never none of our kin that ever was shamed in battle, and rather suffer death, brother, than to be shamed. Brother, said Blamor, have ye no doubt of me, for I shall never shame none of my blood. Howbeit I am sure that yonder knight is called a passing good knight as of his time one of the world, yet shall I never yield me, nor say the loath word. Well may he happen to smite me down with his great might of chivalry, but rather shall he slay me than I shall yield me as recreant. God speed you well, said Sir Bleoberis, for ye shall find him the mightiest knight that ever ye had ado withal, for I know him, for I have had ado with him. God me speed, said Sir Blamor de Gannis. And therewith he took his horse at the one end of the lists, and Sir Tristram at the other end of the lists, and so they feuded their spears and came together as it had been thunder. And there Sir Tristram through great might smote down Sir Blamor and his horse to the earth. Then anon Sir Blamor avoided his horse, and pulled out his sword, and threw his shield afore him, and bade Sir Tristram alight. For though an horse have failed me, I trust to God the earth will not fail me. And then Sir Tristram alighted, and dressed him unto battle, and there they lashed together strongly as racing and tracing, foining and dashing, many sad strokes, that the kings and knights had great wonder that they might stand. For ever they fought like wood men, so that there was never knight seen fight more fiercely than they did. For Sir Blamor was so hasty that he would have no rest, that all men wondered that they had breath to stand on their feet. And all the place was bloody that they fought in. And at the last, Sir Tristram smote Sir Blamor such a buffet upon the helm that he fell down upon his side, and Sir Tristram stood and beheld him. Chapter 23. How Sir Blamor desired Tristram to slay him, and how Sir Tristram spared him, and how they took appointment. Then when Sir Blamor might speak, he said thus, Sir Tristram de Lions, I require thee, as thou art a noble knight, and the best knight that ever I found, that thou wilt slay me out, for I would not live to be made lord of all the earth, for I have liefer die with worship than live with shame. And needs, Sir Tristram, thou must slay me, or else thou shalt never win the field, for I will never say the loath word. And therefore if thou darest slay me, I require thee. When Sir Tristram heard him say so knightly, he wist not what to do with him. He remembering him of both parties, of what blood he was come, and for Sir Lancelot's sake he would be loath to slay him, and in the other party in no wise he might not choose, but that he must make him to say the loath word, or else to slay him. Then Sir Tristram stirred aback, and went to the kings that were judges, and they kneeled down tofore them, and besought them for their worships, and for King Arthur's and Sir Lancelot's sake, that they would take this matter in their hands. For, my fair lords, said Sir Tristram, it was shame and pity that this noble knight that yonder leads should be slain. For ye hear well, shamed will he not be, and I pray to God that he never be slain nor shamed for me. And as for the king for whom I fight for, I shall require him, as I am his true champion and true knight in this field, that he will have mercy upon this good knight. So God me help, said King Anguish, I will for your sake. Sir Tristram, be ruled as ye will have me, for I know ye for my true knight, and therefore I will heartily pray the kings that be here as judges to take it in their hands. And the kings that were judges called Sir Bleoberis to them, and asked him his advice. My lords, said Bleoberis, though my brother be beaten, and at the worst through might of arms, I dare say, though Sir Tristram hath beaten his body, he hath not beaten his heart, and I thank God he is not shamed this day, and rather than he should be shamed I require you, said Bleoberis, let Sir Tristram slay him out. It shall not be so, said the kings, for his part adversary, both the king and the champion, have pity of Sir Blamor's knighthood. My lords, said Bleoberis, I will right well as ye will. Then the kings called the king of Ireland, and found him goodly and treatable. And then, by all their advices, Sir Tristram and Sir Bleoberis took up Sir Blamor, and the two brethren were accorded with King Anguish, and kissed and made friends for ever. And then Sir Blamor and Sir Tristram kissed together, and there they made their oaths that they would never none of them two brethren fight with Sir Tristram. And Sir Tristram made the same oath. And for that gentle battle all the blood of Sir Lancelot loved Sir Tristram for ever. Chapter Xiv. How Sir Tristram demanded La Beale Isoud for King Mark, and how Sir Tristram and Isoud drank the love drink. Then upon a day King Anguish asked Sir Tristram why he asked not his boon, for whatsoever he had promised him he should have it without fail. Sir, said Sir Tristram, now is it time. This is all that I will desire, that you will give me La Beale Isoud, your daughter, not for myself, but for mine uncle, King Mark, that shall have her to wife, for so have I promised him. Alas, said the king, I had liefer than all the land that I have ye would wed her yourself. Sir, and I did, then I was shamed for ever in this world, and false of my promise. Therefore, said Sir I Tristram, I pray you hold your promise that ye promised me. For this is my desire, that ye will give me La Beale Isoud to go with me into Cornwall for to be wedded to King Mark, mine uncle. As for that, said King Anguish, ye shall have her with you to do with her what it please you. That is for to say if that ye list to wed her yourself, that is me liefest. And if ye will give her unto King Mark, your uncle, that is in your choice. So, to make short conclusion, La Beale Isoud was made ready to go with Sir Tristram, and Dame Gawain went with her for her chief gentlewoman, with many other. Then the queen, Isoud's mother, gave to her and Dame Gawain, her daughter's gentlewomen, and unto Gouvernail, a drink, and charged them that what day King Mark should wed, that same day they should get him that drink, so that King Mark should drink to La Beale Isoud. And then, said the queen, I undertake either shall love other the days of their life. So this drink was given unto Dame Gawain, and unto Gouvernail. And then anon Sir Tristram took the sea, and La Beale Isoud, and when they were in their cabin, it happed so that they were thirsty, and they saw a little flasket of gold stand by them, and it seemed by the colour and the taste that it was noble wine. So then they sailed till by fortune they came nigh a castle that hight Plua, and thereby arrived for to repose them, weening to them to have had good harbourage. But anon as Sir Tristram was within the castle they were taken prisoners. For the custom of the castle was such, who that rode by that castle and brought any lady, he must needs fight with the lord that hight Bruna. And if it was so that Bruna won the field, then should the knight stranger and his lady be put to death, what that ever they were. And if it was so that the strange knight won the field of Sabrina, then should he die and his lady both. This custom was used many winters, for it was called the Castle Plua, that is to say the Weeping Castle. Chapter XXV. How Sir Tristram and Isoud were in prison, and how he fought for her beauty, and smote off another lady's head. Thus as Sir Tristram and La Beale Isoud were in prison, it happed a night, and a lady came unto them where they were, to cheer them. I have marvel, said Tristram unto the knight and the lady, what is the cause the lord of this castle holdeth us in prison? It was never the custom of no place of worship that ever I came in, when a knight and a lady asked harbour, and they to receive them, and after to destroy them that be his guests. Sir, said the knight, this is the old custom of this castle, that when a knight cometh here he must needs fight with our lord, and he that is weaker must lose his head. And when that is done, if his lady that he bringeth be fouler than our lord's wife, she must lose a head, and if she be fairer proved than is our lady, then shall the lady of this castle lose a head. So God me help, said Sir Tristram, this is a foul custom and a shameful. But one advantage have I, said Sir Tristram, I have a lady is fair enough. Fairer saw I never in all my life days, and I doubt not for lack of beauty she shall not lose a head. And rather than I should lose my head, I will fight for it on a fair field. Wherefore, Sir Knight, I pray you tell your lord that I will be readiest to mourn with my lady, and myself to do battle. If it be so, I may have my horse and mine armour. Sir, said that knight, I undertake that your desire shall be sped right well. And then he said, take your rest, and look that ye be up betimes, and make you ready in your lady, for ye shall want no thing that ye behoveth. And therewith he departed. And on the morn bedims that same night came to Sir Tristram, and fetched him out in his lady, and brought him horse and armour that was his own, and bade him make him ready to the field, for all the estates and commons of that lordship were there ready to behold that battle and judgment. Then came Sir Breena, the lord of that castle, with his lady in his hand, muffled, and asked Sir Tristram where was his lady. For thy lady be fairer than mine, with thy sword smite off my lady's head, and if my lady be fairer than thine, with my sword I must strike off her head. And if I may win thee, yet shall thy lady be mine, and thou shalt lose thy head. Sir, said Tristram, this is a foul custom and horrible, and rather than my lady should lose her head, yet had I liefer lose my head. Nay, nay, said Sir Breena, the ladies shall be first showed together, and the one shall have a judgment. Nay, I will not so, said Sir Tristram, for here is none that will give righteous judgment. But I doubt not, said Sir Tristram, my lady is fairer than thine, and that will I prove and make good with my hand. And whosoever he be that will say the contrary, I will prove it on his head. And therewith Sir Tristram showed La Beale Isoud, and turned her thrice about with his naked sword in his hand. And when Sir Breena saw that, he did the same wise turn his lady. But when Sir Breena beheld La Beale Isoud, him thought he saw never a fairer lady, and then he dread his lady's head should be off. And so all the people that were there present gave judgment that La Beale Isoud was a fairer lady and the better made. How now, said Sir Tristram, meseemeth it were pity that my lady should lose her head, but because thou and she of long time have used this wicked custom, and by you both have many good knights and ladies been destroyed, for that cause it were no loss to destroy you both. So God me help, said Sir Breena, for to say the sooth, thy lady is fairer than mine, and that me sore repenteth. And so I hear the people privily say, for of all women I saw none so fair, and therefore, and thou wilt slay my lady. I doubt not but I shall slay thee and have thy lady. Thou shalt win her, said Sir Tristram, as dear as ever knight won lady, and because of thine own judgment, as thou wouldst have done to my lady if that she had been fouler, and because of the evil custom, give me thy lady, said Sir Tristram. And therewithal Sir Tristram strode unto him, and took his lady from him, and with an orc stroke he smote off her head clean. Well, knight, said Sir Breena, now hast thou done me a despite. Chapter XXVI. How Sir Tristram fought with Sir Breena, and at the last smote off his head. Now take thine horse. Sit hen I am ladyless, I will win thy lady and I may. Then they took their horses and came together as it had been the thunder, and Sir Tristram smote Sir Breena clean from his horse, and lightly he rose up, and as Sir Tristram came again by him, he thrust his horse throughout both the shoulders, that his horse hurled here and there and fell dead to the ground. And ever Sir Breena ran after to have slain Sir Tristram. But Sir Tristram was light and nimble, and voided his horse lightly. And or ever Sir Tristram might dress his shield, and his sword the other gave him 3 or 4 sad strokes. Then they rushed together like 2 boars, tracing, and traversing mightily and wisely as 2 noble knights. For this Sir Breena was a proved knight, and had been or then the death of many good knights, that it was pity that he had so long endued. Thus they fought, hurling here and there nigh 2 hours, and either were wounded sore. Then at the last Sir Breena rashed upon Sir Tristram, and took him in his arms, for he trusted much in his strength. Then was Sir Tristram called the strongest and the highest knight of the world, for he was called bigger than Sir Lancelot, but Sir Lancelot was better breathed. So anon Sir Tristram thrust Sir Bruna down grovelling, and then he unlaced his helm and struck off his head. And then all they that longed to the castle came to him, and did him homage and fealty, praying him that he would abide there still a little while to fordo that foul custom. Sir Tristram granted they too. The meanwhile one of the knights of the castle rode unto Sir Galahad, the haut prince, the which was Sir Bruna's son, which was a noble knight, and told him what misadventure his father had in his mother. Chapter XD. How Sir Galahad fought with Sir Tristram, and how Sir Tristram yielded him and promised a fellowship with Lancelot. Then came Sir Galahad, and the king with 100 knights with him, and this Sir Galahad proffered to fight with Sir Tristram hand for hand. And so they made them ready to go unto battle on horseback with great courage. Then Sir Galahad and Sir Tristram met together so hard that either bare other down, horse and all, to the earth. And then they avoided their horses as noble knights, and dressed their shields, and drew their swords with ire and rancor, and they lashed together many sad strokes, and one while striking, another while foining, tracing and traversing as noble knights. Thus they fought long, near half a day, and either was so wounded. At the last Sir Tristram waxed light and big, and doubled his strokes, and drove Sir Galahad aback on the one side and on the other, so that he was like to have been slain. With that came the king with 100 knights, and all that fellowship went fiercely upon Sir Tristram. When Sir Tristram saw them coming upon him, then he wist well he might not endure. Then as a wise knight of war, he said to Sir Galahad, the haut prince, Sir, ye show to me no knighthood, for to suffer all your men to have ado with me all at once, and as meseemeth ye be a noble knight of your hands, it is great shame to you. So God me help, said Sir Galahad, there is none other way but thou must yield thee to me, other else to die. Said Sir Galahad to Sir Tristram, I will rather yield me to you than die, for that is more for the might of your men than of your hands. And therewithal Sir Tristram took his own sword by the point, and put the pommel in the hand of Sir Galahad. Therewithal came the king with 100 knights, and hard began to assail Sir Tristram. Let be, said Sir Galahad, be ye not so hardy to touch him, for I have given this knight his life. That is your shame, said the king with 100 knights. Are they not slain your father and your mother? As for that, said Sir Galahad, I may not wite him greatly, for my father had him in prison, and enforced him to do battle with him. And my father had such a custom that was a shameful custom, that what knight came there to ask harbour, his lady must needs die, but if she were fairer than my mother, and if my father overcame that knight, he must needs die. This was a shameful custom and usage, a knight for his harbour asking to have such harbourage, and for this custom I would never draw about him. So God me help, said the king, this was a shameful custom. Truly, said Sir Galahad, so seemed me, and meseemed it had been great pity that this knight should have been slain, for I dare say he is the noblest man that beareth life, but if it was Sir Lancelot du Lake. Now, fair knight, said Sir Galahad, I require thee tell me thy name, and of whence thou art, and whither thou wilt. Sir, he said, my name is Sir Tristram de Lyons, and from King Mark of Cornwall I was sent on message unto King Anguish of Ireland, for to fetch his daughter to be his wife, and here she is ready to go with me into Cornwall, and her name is La Beale Isoud. And, Sir Tristram, said Sir Galahad, the haut prince, well be ye found in these marches, and so ye will promise me to go unto Sir Lancelot du Lake, and accompany with him. Ye shall go where ye will, and your fair lady with you, and I shall promise you never in all my days shall such customs be used in this castle as have been used. Sir, said Sir Tristram, now I let you wit, so God me help, I weened ye had been Sir Lancelot du Lake when I saw you first, and therefore I dread you the more. And sir, I promise you, said Sir Tristram, as soon as I may I will see Sir Lancelot and in fellowship me with him, for of all the knights of the world I most desire his fellowship. Chapter 8. How Sir Lancelot met with Sir Carados bearing away Sir Gawain, and of the rescue of Sir Gawain. And then Sir Tristram took his leave when he saw his time, and took the sea. And in the meanwhile word came unto Sir Lancelot and to Sir Tristram that Sir Carados, the mighty king, that was made like a giant, fought with Sir Gawain, and gave him such strokes that he swooned in his saddle. And after that he took him by the collar, and pulled him out of his saddle, and fast bound him to the saddle bow, and so rode his way with him toward his castle. And as he rode, By fortune Sir Lancelot met with Sir Carados, and anon he knew Sir Gawain that lay bound after him. "Ah," said Sir Lancelot unto Sir Gawain, "how stands it with you?" "Never so hard," said Sir Gawain, "unless that ye help me, for so God me help. Without ye rescue me I know no knight that may, but out her you or Sir Tristram." Wherefore Sir Lancelot was heavy of Sir Gawain's words. And then Sir Lancelot bade Sir Carados, "Lay down that knight and fight with me." "Thou art but a fool," said Sir Carados, "for I will serve you in the same wise." "As for that," said Sir Lancelot, "spare me not, for I warn thee I will not spare thee." And then he bound Sir Gawain hand and foot, and so threw him to the ground. And then he get his spear of his squire, and departed from Sir Lancelot to fetch his course. And so either met with other, and brake their spears of their hands. And then they pulled out swords, and hurtled together on horseback more than an hour. And at the last Sir Lancelot smote Sir Carados such a buffet upon the helm that it pierced his brain pan. So then Sir Lancelot took Sir Carados by the collar and pulled him under his horse's feet. And then he alighted and pulled off his helm and struck off his head. And then Sir Lancelot unbound Sir Gawain. So this same tale was told to Sir Galahad and to Sir Tristram. Here may ye hear the nobleness that followeth Sir Lancelot. "Alas," said Sir Tristram, "and I had not this message in hand with this fair lady. Truly I would never stint, or I had found Sir Lancelot." Then Sir Tristram and La Beale Isoud went to the sea and came into Cornwall, and there all the barons met them. Chapter XXII, the wedding of King Mark to La Beale Isoud, and of Bragwain her maid, and of Palomides. And anon they were richly wedded with great noblesse. But ever, as the French book saith, Sir Tristram and La Beale Isoud loved ever together. Then was there great joust and great tourneying, and many lords and ladies were at that feast, and Sir Tristram was most praised of all other. Thus did the feast long, and after the feast was done, within a little while after, by the assent of two ladies that were with Queen Isoud, they ordained for hate and envy for to destroy Dame Bragwain, that was maiden and lady unto La Beale Isoud, and she was sent into the forest to fetch herbs, and there she was met, and bound feet and hand to a tree, and so she was bound in 3 days. And by fortune Sir Palomides found Dame Bragwain, and they delivered her from the death, and brought her to a nunnery there beside, for to be recovered. When Isoud the queen missed a maiden, wit ye well she was right heavy as ever was any queen, for of all earthly women she loved her best. The cause was that she came with her out of her country. And so upon a day Queen Isoud walked into the forest to put away her thoughts, and there she went herself unto a well and made great moan. And suddenly there came Palomides to her, and had heard all her complaint, and said, "Madam Isoud, an you will grant me my boon, I shall bring to you Dame Bragwain safe and sound." And the queen was so glad at his proffer that suddenly unadvised she granted all his asking. "Well, madam," said Palomides, "I trust to your promise, and if you will abide here half an hour I shall bring her to you." "I shall abide you," said La Beale Isoud. And Sir Palomides rode forth his way to that nunnery, and lightly he came again with Dame Bragwain. But by a good will she would not have come again, because for love of the queen she stood in adventure of her life. Notwithstanding, half against her will, she went with Sir Palomides unto the queen. And when the queen saw her she was passing glad. "Now, madam," said Palomides, "remember upon your promise, for I have fulfilled my promise." "Sir Palomides," said the queen, "I wot not what is a desire, but I will that ye wit. Howbeit I promise you largely, I thought none evil, nor I warn you none evil will I do." "Madam," said Sir Palomides, "as at this time, ye shall not know my desire, but before my lord your husband there shall ye know that I will have my desire that ye have promised me." And therewith the queen departed, and rode home to the king, and Sir Palomides rode after her. And when Sir Palomides came before the king, he said, "Sir King, I require you as ye be a righteous king, that ye will judge me the right. Tell me your cause," said the king, "and ye shall have right." Chapter XXX, how Palomides demanded Queen Isoud, and how Lamgus rode after to rescue her, and of the escape of Isoud. "Sir," said Palomides, "I promise your Queen Isoud to bring again Dame Bragwain that she had lost, upon this covenant, that she should grant me a boon that I would ask, and without grudging, out her advisement, she granted me. What say ye, my lady?" Said the king, "It is as he saith, so God me help. said the queen. To say thee sooth I promise him is asking for love and joy that I had to see her. Well, madam, said the king, and if you were hasty to grant him what boon he would ask, I will well that ye perform your promise. Then, said Palomides, I will that ye wit that I will have your queen to lead her and govern her whereas me list. Therewith the king stood still, and bethought him of Sir Tristram, and deemed that he would rescue her. And then hastily the king answered, Take her with the adventures that shall fall of it, for as I suppose thou wilt not enjoy her no while. As for that, said Palomides, I dare right well abide the adventure. And so, to make short tale, Sir Palomides took her by the hand, and said, Madam, grudge not to go with me, for I desire nothing but your own promise. As for that, said the queen, I fear not greatly to go with thee, howbeit thou hast me at advantage upon my promise, for I doubt not I shall be worshipfully rescued from thee. As for that, said Sir Palomides, be it as it be may. So Queen Iseult was set behind Palomides, and rode his way. Anon the king sent after Sir Tristram, but in no wise he could be found, for he was in the forest hunting, for that was always his custom, but if he used arms, to chase and to hunt in the forests. Alas, said the king, now I am shamed for ever, that by mine own assent my lady and my queen shall be devoured. Then came forth a knight. His name was Lamgus, and he was a knight of Sir Tristram. My lord, said this knight, sith ye have trusted my lord, Sir Tristram, wit ye well for his sake I will ride after your queen and rescue her, or else I shall be beaten. Gramercy, said the king, as I live, Sir Lamgus, I shall deserve it. And then Sir Lamgus armed him, and rode after as fast as he might. Then he looked after La Beale Iseult, and then she was gone he this way. Wit ye well Sir Palomides was never so heavy. So the queen ran into the forest, and there she found a well, and therein she had thought to have drowned herself. And as good fortune would, there came a knight to her that had a castle thereby. His name was Sir Adthurp. And when he found the queen in that mischief, he rescued her, and brought her to his castle. And when he wist what she was, he armed him, and took his horse, and said he would be avenged upon Palomides. And so he rode on till he met with him. And there Sir Palomides wounded him sore, and by force he made him to tell him the cause why he did battle with him, and how he had led the queen unto his castle. Now bring me there, said Palomides, or thou shalt die of my hands. Sir, said Sir Adthurp, I am so wounded I may not follow, but ride you this way, and it shall bring you into my castle, and there within is a queen. Then Sir Palomides rode still till he came to the castle, and at a window La Beale Iseult saw Sir Palomides. Then she made the gates to be shut strongly, and when he saw he might not come within the castle, he put off his bridle and his saddle, and put his horse to pasture, and set himself down at the gate like a man that was out of his wit that recked not of himself. Chapter XXXI. How Sir Tristram rode after Palomides, and how he found him and fought with him, and by the means of Iseult the battle ceased. Now turn we unto Sir Tristram, that when he was come home and wist La Beale Iseult was gone with Sir Palomides, wit ye well he was wroth out of measure. Alas, said Sir Tristram, I am this day shamed. Then he cried to Gouvernail his man, Haste thee that I were armed and on horseback, for well I wot Lamgus hath no might nor strength to withstand Sir Palomides. Alas that I have not been in his stead. So anon as he was armed and horsed Sir Tristram and Gouvernail rode after into the forest, and within a while he found his knight Lamgus almost wounded to the death, and Sir Tristram bare him to a forester, and charged him to keep him well. And then he rode forth, and there he found Sir Adthurp so wounded, and he told him how the queen would have drowned herself had he not been, and how for her sake and love he had taken upon him to do battle with Sir Palomides. Where is my lady? Said Sir Tristram. Sir, said the knight, she is sure enough within my castle, and she can hold her within it. Gramercy, said Sir Tristram, of thy great goodness. And so he rode till he came nigh to that castle. And then Sir Tristram saw where Sir Palomides sat at the gate sleeping, and his horse pastured fast afore him. Now go thou, Gouvernail, said Sir Tristram, and bid him awake, and make him ready. So Gouvernail rode unto him and said, Sir Palomides, arise, and take to thee thine harness. But he was in such a study he heard not what Gouvernail said. So Gouvernail came again and told Sir Tristram he slept, or else he was mad. Go thou again, said Sir Tristram, and bid him arise, and tell him that I am here, his mortal foe. So Gouvernail rode again, and put upon him the butt of his spear, and said, Sir Palomides, make thee ready, for wit ye well Sir Tristram hoveth yonder, and sendeth thee word he is thy mortal foe. And therewithal Sir Palomides arose stilly, without words, and get his horse, and settled him and bridled him, and lightly he leapt upon, and get his spear in his hand, and either feuted their spears and hurtled fast together, and there Tristram smote down Sir Palomides over his horse's tail. Then lightly Sir Palomides put his shield afore him and drew his sword. And there began strong battle on both parts, for both they fought for the love of one lady. And ever she lay on the walls and beheld them how they fought out of measure, and either were wounded passing sore, but Palomides was much sore wounded. Thus they fought tracing and traversing more than 2 hours, that well nigh for dole and sorrow La Beale Isoud swooned. Alas, she said, that one I loved and yet do, and the other I love not, yet with great pity that I should see Sir Palomides slain. For well I know by that time the end be done, Sir Palomides is but a dead knight. Because he is not christened, I would be loath that he should die a Saracen. And therewithal she came down and besought Sir Tristram to fight no more. Ah, madam, said he, what mean you? Will ye have me shamed? Well ye know I will be ruled by you. I will not your dishonour, said La Beale Isoud, but I would that you would for my sake spare this unhappy Saracen Palomides. Madam, said Sir Tristram, I will leave fighting at this time for your sake. Then she said to Sir Palomides, This shall be your charge, that thou shalt go out of this country while I am therein. I will obey your commandment, said Sir Palomides, the which is sore against my will. Then take thy way, said La Beale Isoud, unto the court of King Arthur, and there recommend me unto Queen Guinevere, and tell her that I send her word that there be within this land but 4 lovers, that is, Sir Lancelot du Lake and Queen Guinevere, and Sir Tristram de Lines and Queen Isoud. Chapter XXXII, How Sir Tristram Brought Queen Isoud Home, and of the debate of King Mark and Sir Tristram. So upon a day Sir Tristram talked with La Beale Isoud in a window, and that espied Sir Andrade, and told it to the king. Then King Mark took a sword in his hand, and came to Sir Tristram, and called him false traitor, and would have stricken him. But Sir Tristram was nigh him, and ran under his sword, and took it out of his hand. And then the king cried, Where are my knights and my men? I charge you slay this traitor. But at that time there was not one would move for his words. When Sir Tristram saw that there was not one would be against him, he shook the sword to the king, and made countenance as though he would have stricken him. And then King Mark fled, and Sir Tristram followed him, and smote upon him 5 or 6 strokes fletling on the neck, that he made him to fall upon the nose. And then Sir Tristram yet his way, and armed him, and took his horse and his man, and so he rode into that forest. And there upon a day Sir Tristram met with 2 brethren that were knights with King Mark, and there he struck off the head of the one, and wounded the other to the death. And he made him bear his brother's head and his helm unto the king, and 30 more there he wounded. And when that knight came before the king to say his message, he there died afore the king and the queen. Then King Mark called his council unto him, and asked advice of his barons what was best to do with Sir Tristram. Sir, said the barons, in especial Sir Dinas, the seneschal, Sir, we will give you counsel for to send for Sir Tristram, for we will that ye with many men will hold with Sir Tristram, and he will hard bestead. And sir, said Sir Dinas, ye shall understand that Sir Tristram is called peerless and makeless of any Christian knight, and of his might and hardiness we knew none so good a knight, but if it be Sir Lancelot du Lake. And if he depart from your court and go to King Arthur's court, wit ye well he will get him such friends there that he will not set by your malice. And therefore, sir, I counsel you to take him to your grace. I will well, said the king, that he be sent for, that we may be friends. Then the barons sent for Sir Tristram under a safe conduct. And so when Sir Tristram came to the king he was welcome, and no rehearsal was made, and there was game and play. And then the king and the queen went a-hunting, and Sir Tristram. Chapter XXXII, How Sir Lamorak jousted with 30 knights, and Sir Tristram at the request of King Mark smote his horse down. The king and the queen made their pavilions and their tents in that forest beside a river, and there was daily hunting and jousting. For there were ever 30 knights ready to joust under all them that came in at that time. And there by fortune came Sir Lamorak de Gales and Sir Driant, and there Sir Driant jousted right well, but at the last he had a fall. Then Sir Lamorak proffered to joust. And when he began, he fared so with the 30 knights, that there was not one of them but that he gave him a fall, and some of them were sore hurt. I marvel, said King Mark, what knight he is that doth such deeds of arms. Sir, said Sir Tristram, I know him well for a noble knight as few now be living, and his name is Sir Lamorak de Gales. It were great shame, said the king, that he should go thus away, unless that some of you meet with him better. Sir, said Sir Tristram, meseemeth it were no worship for a noble man to have ado with him, and for because at this time he hath done overmuch for any mean knight living. Therefore, as meseemeth, it were great shame and villainy to tempt him any more at this time, insomuch as he and his horse are weary both. For the deeds of arms that he hath done this day, and they be well considered, it were enough for Sir Lancelot du Lake. As for that, said King Mark, I require you, as he loved me and my lady the queen, La Beale Isoud, take your arms and joust with Sir Lamorak de Gales. Sir, said Sir Tristram, ye bid me do a thing that is against knighthood, and well I can deem that I shall give him fall, for it is no mastery, for my horse and I be fresh both, and so is not his horse and he, and wit ye well that he will take it for great unkindness, for ever one good knight is loath to take another at disadvantage. But because I will not displease you, as ye require me so will I do, and obey your commandment. Sir, said Sir Tristram, I know him well for a noble knight as few now be living, and his name is Sir Lamorak de Gales. It were great shame, said the king, that he should go thus away, unless that some of you meet with him better. And so Sir Tristram armed him and took his horse, and put him forth, and there Sir Lamorak met him mightily, and what with the might of his own spear, and of Sir Tristram's spear, Sir Lamorak's horse fell to the earth, and he sitting in the saddle. Then anon as lightly as he might, he avoided the saddle and his horse, and put his shield afore him and drew his sword. And then he bade Sir Tristram, Alight, thou knight, and thou durst. Nay, said Sir Tristram, I will no more have ado with thee, for I have done to thee overmuch unto my dishonour and to thy worship. As for that, said Sir Lamorak, I can thee no thank. Since thou hast forjousted me on horseback, I require thee and I beseech thee, and now be Sir Tristram, fight with me on foot. I will not so, said Sir Tristram, and wit ye well my name is Sir Tristram de Lions, and well I know ye be Sir Lamorak de Gales, and this that I have done to you was against my will, but I was required thereto. But to say that I will do at your request as at this time, I will have no more ado with you, for me shameth of that I have done. As for the shame, said Sir Lamorak, on thy part or on mine, bear thou it an thou wilt. For though a mayor's son have failed me, now a queen's son shall not fail thee. And therefore, and thou be such a knight as men call thee, I require thee, alight, and fight with me. Sir Lamorak, said Sir Tristram, I understand your heart is great, and cause why ye have, to say thee sooth. For it would grieve me an any knight should keep him fresh, and then to strike down a weary knight. For that knight nor horse was never formed that alway might stand or endure. And therefore, said Sir Tristram, I will not have ado with you, for me forethinketh of that I have done. As for that, said Sir Lamorak, I shall quit you, and ever I see my time. Chapter XXX5, How Sir Lamorak sent an horn to King Mark in despite of Sir Tristram, and how Sir Tristram was driven into a chapel. So he departed from him with Sir Driant, and by the way they met with a knight that was sent from Morgan le Fay unto King Arthur, and this knight had a fair horn harnessed with gold. And the horn had such a virtue that there might no lady nor gentlewoman drink of that horn but if she were true to her husband, and if she were false she should spill all the drink, and if she were true to her lord she might drink peaceable. And because of the Queen Guinevere, and in the despite of Sir Lancelot, this horn was sent unto King Arthur, and by force Sir Lamorak made that knight to tell all the cause why he bare that horn. Now shalt thou bear this horn, said Lamorak, unto King Mark, or else choose thou to die for it. For I tell thee plainly, in despite and reproof of Sir Tristram thou shalt bear that horn unto King Mark, his uncle, and say thou to him that I sent him for to assay his lady, and if she be true to him he shall prove her. So the knight went his way unto King Mark, and brought him that rich horn, and said that Sir Lamorak sent him, and thereto he told him the virtue of that horn. Then the king made Queen Isoud to drink thereof, and 100 ladies, and there were but 4 ladies of all those that drank clean. Alas, said King Mark, this is a great despite, and swear a great oath that she should be burnt and the other ladies. Then the barons gathered them together, and said plainly they would not have those ladies burnt for an horn made by sorcery, that came from as false a sorceress and witch as then was living. For that horn did never good, but caused strife and debate, and always in her days she had been an enemy to all true lovers. So there were many knights made their vow, and ever they met with Morgan le Fay, that they would show her short courtesy. Also Sir Tristram was passing wroth that Sir Lamorak sent that horn unto King Mark, for well he knew that it was done in the despite of him, and therefore he thought to quiet Sir Lamorak. Then Sir Tristram used daily and nightly to go to Queen Isoud when he might, and ever Sir Andrade his cousin watched him night and day for to take him with La Beale Isoud. And so upon a night Sir Andrade espied the hour and the time when Sir Tristram went to his lady. Then Sir Andrade get unto him 12 knights, and at midnight he set upon Sir Tristram secretly and suddenly, and there Sir Tristram was taken naked abed with La Beale Isoud, and then was he bound hand and foot, and so was he kept until day. And then by the assent of King Mark, and of Sir Andrade, and of some of the barons, Sir Tristram was led unto a chapel that stood upon the sea rocks, therefore to take his judgment. And so he was led bounden with 40 knights. And when Sir Tristram saw that there was none other boot but needs that he must die, then said he, Fair lords, remember what I have done for the country of Cornwall, and in what jeopardy I have been in for the weal of you all. For when I fought for the truage of Cornwall with Sir Miles, the good knight, I was promised to be better rewarded, when ye all refused to take the battle. Therefore, as ye be good gentle knights, see me not thus shamefully to die, for it is shame to all knighthood, thus to see me die. For I dare say, said Sir Tristram, that I never met with no knight but I was as good as he, or better. Fie upon thee, said Sir Andrade, false traitor that thou art, with thine avaunting, for all thy boast thou shalt die this day. O Andrade, Andrade, said Sir Tristram, thou shouldst be my kinsman, and now thou art to me full unfriendly, but an there were no more but thou and I, thou wouldst not put me to death. No, said Sir Andrade, and therewith he drew his sword, and would have slain him. When Sir Tristram saw him make such countenance, he looked upon both his hands that were fast bounden unto 2 knights, and suddenly he pulled them both to him, and unwrast his hands, and then he leapt unto his cousin, Sir Andrade, and wrested his sword out of his hands. Then he smote Sir Andrade that he fell to the earth, and so Sir Tristram fought till that he had killed 10 knights. So then Sir Tristram get the chapel and kept it mightily. Then the cry was great, and the people drew fast unto Sir Andrade, more than 100. When Sir Tristram saw the people draw unto him, he remembered he was naked, and spurred fast the chapel door, and brake the bars of a window, and so he leapt out and fell upon the crags in the sea. And so at that time Sir Andrade nor none of his fellows might get to him, at that time. Chapter XXXV. How Sir Tristram was holpen by his men, and of Queen Isoud which was put in a lazacote, and how Tristram was hurt. So when they were departed, Gouvernail, and Sir Lamgus, and Sir Centrail de Lushan, that were Sir Tristram's men, sought their master. When they heard he was escaped, then they were passing glad, and on the rocks they found him, and with towels they pulled him up. And then Sir Tristram asked them where was La Beale Isoud, for he weened she had been had away of Andrade's people. Sir, said Gouvernail, she is put in a lazacote. Alas, said Sir Tristram, this is a full ungoodly place for such a fair lady, and if I may she shall not belong there. And so he took his men and went there as was La Beale Isoud, and fetched her away, and brought her into a forest to a fair manor, and Sir Tristram there abode with her. So the good knight bade his men go from him, for at this time I may not help you. So they departed all save Gouvernail. And so upon a day Sir Tristram yet into the forest to disport him, and then it happened that they fell asleep. And there came a man that Sir Tristram aforehand had slain his brother, and when this man had found him, he shot him through the shoulder with an arrow, and Sir Tristram leapt up and killed that man. And in the meantime it was told King Mark how Sir Tristram and La Beale Isoud were in that same manner, and as soon as ever he might thither he came with many knights to slay Sir Tristram. And when he came there he found him gone, and there he took La Beale Isoud home with him, and kept her straight that by no means never she might with nor send unto Tristram, nor he unto her. And then when Sir Tristram came toward the old manor, he found the track of many horses, and thereby he wist his lady was gone. And then Sir Tristram took great sorrow, and endured with great pain long time, for the arrow that he was hurt withal was envenomed. Then by the mean of La Beale Isoud she told a lady that was cousin unto Dame Bragwain, and she came to Sir Tristram, and told him that he might not be whole by no means. For thy lady, La Beale Isoud, may not help thee, therefore she biddeth you hasten to Brittany to King Howell, and there ye shall find his daughter Isoud La Blanchemains, and she shall help thee. Then Sir Tristram and Gouvernail get them shipping, and so sailed into Brittany. And when King Howell wist that it was Sir Tristram, he was full glad of him. Sir, he said, I am come into this country to have help of your daughter, for it is told me that there is none other may heal me but she. And so within a while she healed him. Chapter XXXVI. How Sir Tristram served and wore King Howell of Brittany, and slew his adversary in the field. There was an earl that hight Grip, and this earl made great war upon the king, and put the king to the worse, and besieged him. And on a time Sir Cahides, that was son to King Howell, as he issued out he was sore wounded, nigh to the death. Then Gouvernail went to the king and said, Sir, I counsel you to desire my lord, Sir Tristram, as in your need to help you. I will do by your counsel, said the king. And so he yede unto Sir Tristram, and prayed him in his wars to help him. For my son, Sir Cahides, may not go into the field. Sir, said Sir Tristram, I will go to the field and do what I may. Then Sir Tristram issued out of the town with such fellowship as he might make, and did such deeds that all Brittany spake of him. And then, at the last, by great might and force, he slew the Earl Grip with his own hands, and more than 100 knights he slew that day. And then Sir Tristram was received worshipfully with procession. Then King Howell embraced him in his arms, and said, Sir Tristram, all my kingdom I will resign to thee. God defend, said Sir Tristram, for I am beholden unto you for your daughter's sake to do for you. Then by the great mains of King Howell and Cahides his son, by great proffers, there grew great love betwixt Isoud and Sir Tristram, for that lady was both good and fay, and a woman of noble blood and fame. And for because Sir Tristram had such cheer and riches, and all other pleasaunce that he had, almost he had forsaken La Beale Isoud. And so upon a time Sir Tristram agreed to wed Isoud La Blanchemains. And at the last they were wedded, and solemnly held their marriage. And so when they were abed both, Sir Tristram remembered him of his old lady La Beale Isoud. And then he took such a thought suddenly that he was all dismayed, and other cheer made he none but with clipping and kissing. As for other fleshly lusts Sir Tristram never thought nor had to do with her. Such mention maketh the French book. Also it maketh mention that the lady weened there had been no pleasure but kissing and clipping. And in the meantime there was a knight in Brittany. His name was Supernabils, and he came over the sea into England. And then he came into the court of King Arthur, and they met with Sir Lancelot du Lake, and told him of the marriage of Sir Tristram. Then said Sir Lancelot, Fie upon him, untrue knight to his lady, that so noble a knight as Sir Tristram should be found to his first lady false, La Beale Isoud, Queen of Cornwall. But say ye him this, said Sir Lancelot, that of all knights in the world I love him most, and had most joy of him, and all was for his noble deeds. And let him with the love between him and me is done for ever, and that I give him warning from this day forth as his mortal enemy. Chapter XXVI. How Sir Supernabils told Sir Tristram how he was defamed in the court of King Arthur, and of Sir Lamorak. Then departed Sir Supernabils unto Brittany again, and there he found Sir Tristram, and told him that he had been in King Arthur's court. Then said Sir Tristram, Heard ye anything of me? So God me help, said Sir Supernabils. There I heard Sir Lancelot speak of you great shame, and that ye be a false knight to your lady, and he bade me do you to wit that he will be your mortal enemy in every place where he may meet you. That me repenteth, said Tristram, for of all knights I love to be in his fellowship. So Sir Tristram made great moan, and was ashamed that noble knight should defame him for the sake of his lady. And in this meanwhile La Beale Isoud made a letter unto Queen Guinevere, complaining her the untruth of Sir Tristram, and how he had wedded the king's daughter of Brittany. Queen Guinevere sent her another letter, and bade her be of good cheer, for she should have joy after sorrow. For Sir Tristram was so noble a knight cold, that by craft of sorcery ladies would make such noble men to wed them. But in the end, Queen Guinevere said, It shall be thus, that he shall hate her, and love you better than ever he did tofore. So leave we Sir Tristram in Brittany, and speak we of Sir Lamorak de Gales, that as he sailed his ship fell on a rock and perished all, save Sir Lamorak and his squire, and there he swam mightily, and fishes of the Isle of Servage took him up, and his squire was drowned, and the shipmen had great labor to save Sir Lamorak's life, for all the comfort that they could do. And the lord of that isle hight Sir Nabon a great mighty giant. And this Sir Nabon hated all the knights of King Arthur's, and in no wise he would do them favor. And these fishers told Sir Lamorak all the guise of Sir Nabon, how there came never knight of King Arthur's but he destroyed him. And at the last battle that he did was slain Sir Nanaun le Petit, the which he put to a shameful death in despite of King Arthur, for he was drawn limb-meal. That forethinketh me, said Sir Lamorak, for that knight's death, for he was my cousin, and if I were at mine ease as well as ever I was, I would revenge his death. Peace, said the fishers, and make here no words, for ever ye depart from hence, and Nabon must know that ye have been here, or else we should die for your sake. So that I be whole, said Lamorak, of my disease that I have taken in the sea, I will that ye tell him that I am a knight of King Arthur's, for I was never afeard to reny my lord. Chapter 8. How Sir Tristram and his wife arrived in Wales, and how he met there with Sir Lamorak. Now turn we unto Sir Tristram, that upon a day he took a little barget, and his wife Isoud la Blanchemains, with Sir Cadis a brother, to play them in the coasts. And when they were from a land, there was a wind drove them into the coast of Wales upon this isle of Servage, whereas was Sir Lamorak, and there the barget all to rove, and their dame Isoud was hurt, and as well as they might they get into the forest, and there by a well he saw Segwarides and a Deimos, and then either saluted other. Sir, said Segwarides, I know you for Sir Tristram de Lions, the man in the world that I have most cause to hate, because he departed the love between me and my wife. But as for that, said Sir Segwarides, I will never hate a noble knight for a light lady, and therefore, I pray you, be my friend, and I will be yours unto my power. For wit ye well ye are hard bestead in this valley, and we shall have enough to do either of us to succour other. And then Sir Segwarides brought Sir Tristram to a lady thereby that was born in Cornwall, and she told him all the perils of that valley, and how there came never knight there but he were taken prisoner or slain. Wit you well, fair lady, said Sir Tristram, that I slew Sir Maules and delivered Cornwall from the truage of Ireland, and I am he that delivered the king of Ireland from Sir Blamor de Gonys, and I am he that beat Sir Palamides. And wit ye well I am Sir Tristram de Lions, that by the grace of God shall deliver this woeful isle of Servage. So Sir Tristram was well eased. Fair sir, said Sir Tristram, meseemeth by your cheer ye have been diseased but late, and also methinketh I should know you heretofore. I will well, said Sir Lamorak, that ye have seen me and met with me. Fair sir, said Sir Tristram, tell me your name. Upon a covenant I will tell you, said Sir Lamorak, that is, that ye will tell me whether ye be lord of this island or no, that is called Nabon Forsooth, said Sir Tristram, I am not he, nor I hold not of him. I am his foe as well as ye be, and so shall I be found or I depart out of this isle. Well, said Sir Lamorak, since ye have said so largely unto me, my name is Sir Lamorak de Gales, son unto King Pellinore. Forsooth, I trow well, said Sir Tristram, for when ye said other I know the contrary. What are ye, said Sir Lamorak, that knoweth me? I am Sir Tristram de Lions. Ah, so, remember ye know the fall ye did give me once, and after ye refused me to fight on foot. That was not for fear I had of you, said Sir Tristram, but me shamed at that time to have more ado with you, for meseemed ye had enough. But, Sir Lamorak, for my kindness many ladies ye put to a reproof when ye sent the horn from Morgan le Fay to King Mark, whereas ye did this in despite of me. Well, said he, an it were to do again, so would I do, for I had liefer strife and debate fell in King Mark's court rather than Arthur's court, for the honour of both courts be not alike. As to that, said Sir Tristram, I know well, but that was done it was for despite of me, but all your malice, I thank God, hurt not greatly. Therefore, said Sir Tristram, ye shall leave all your malice, and so will I, and let us essay how we may win worship between you and me upon this giant Sir Nabon Lenoir that is lord of this island, to destroy him. Sir, said Sir Lamorak, now I understand your knighthood. It may not be false that all men say, for of your bounty, noblesse, and worship, of all knights ye are peerless, and for your courtesy and gentleness I showed you ungentleness, and that now me repenteth. Chapter 6. How Sir Tristram fought with Sir Nabon, and overcame him, and made Sir Segwarides lord of the isle. In the meantime there came word that Sir Nabon had made a cry that all the people of that isle should be at his castle the 5th day after. And the same day the son of Nabon should be made knight, and all the knights of that valley and thereabout should be there to joust, and all those of the realm of Logres should be there to joust with them of North Wales. And there came 500 knights, and they of the country brought to the Sir Lamorak, and Sir Tristram, and Sir Cahidus, and Sir Segwarides, for they durst none otherwise do. And then Sir Nabon lent Sir Lamorak horse and armour at Sir Lamorak's desire. And Sir Lamorak jousted and did such deeds of arms that Nabon and all the people said there was never knight that ever they saw do such deeds of arms. For, as the French book saith, he forjousted all that were there, for the most part of 500 knights, that none abode him in his saddle. In the meantime there came word that Sir Nabon had made a cry that all the people of that isle should be at his castle the 5th day after. Then Sir Nabon proffered to play with him his play, for I saw never no knight do so much upon a day. I will well, said Sir Lamorak, play as I may, but I am weary and sore bruised. And they either get a spear, but Nabon would not encounter with Sir Lamorak, but smote his horse in the forehead, and so slew him. And then Sir Lamorak yede on foot, and turned his shield and drew his sword, and there began strong battle on foot. But Sir Lamorak was so bruised and short-breathed, that he traced and traversed somewhat aback. Fair fellow, said Sir Nabon, hold thy hand, and I shall show thee more courtesy than ever I showed knight, because I have seen this day thy noble knighthood, and therefore stand thou by, and I will wit whether any of thy fellows will have ado with me. Then when Sir Tristram heard that, he stepped forth and said, Nabon, lend me horse and sure armour, and I will have ado with thee. Well, fellow, said Sir Nabon, go thou to yonder pavilion, and arm thee of the best thou findest there, and I shall play a marvellous play with thee. Then said Sir Tristram, look ye play well, or else peradventure I shall learn you a new play. That is well said. Fellow, said Sir Nabon. So when Sir Tristram was armed as him liked best, and well shielded in sword, he dressed to him on foot. For well he knew that Sir Nabon would not abide a stroke with a spear, therefore he would slay all knights' horses. Now, fair fellow, Sir Nabon, let us play. So then they fought long on foot, tracing and traversing, smiting and foining long without any rest. At the last Sir Nabon prayed him to tell him his name. Sir Nabon, I tell thee my name is Sir Tristram de Lyons, a knight of Cornwall under King Mark. Thou art welcome, said Sir Nabon, for of all knights I have most desired to fight with thee or with Sir Lancelot. So then they went eagerly together, and Sir Tristram slew Sir Nabon, and so forthwith he leapt to his son, and struck off his head, and then all the country said they would hold of Sir Tristram. Nay, said Sir Tristram, I will not so. Here is a worshipful knight, Sir Lamorak de Gales, that for me shall be lord of this country, for he hath done here great deeds of arms. Nay, said Sir Lamorak, I will not be lord of this country, for I have not deserved it as well as ye. Therefore give ye it where ye will, for I will none have. Well, said Sir Tristram, since ye know I will not have it, let us give it to him that hath not so well deserved it. Do as ye list, said Segwarides, for the gift is yours, for I will none have an I had deserved it. So was it given to Segwarides, whereof he thanked them, and so was he lord, and worshipfully he did govern it. And then Sir Segwarides delivered all prisoners, and set good governance in that valley. And so he returned into Cornwall, and told King Mark and La Beale Isoud how Sir Tristram had advanced him to the Isle of Servage, and they proclaimed in all Cornwall of all the adventures of these two knights. So was it openly known. But full woe was La Beale Isoud when she heard tell that Sir Tristram was wedded to Isoud La Blanche Mains. Chapter XL, how Sir Lamorak departed from Sir Tristram, and how he met with Sir Frol, and afterwards Sir Lancelot. So turn we unto Sir Lamorak, that rode toward Arthur's court, and Sir Tristram's wife and Cahidus took a vessel, and sailed into Brittany, unto King Howell, where he was welcome. And when he heard of these adventures, they marvelled of his noble deeds. Now turn we unto Sir Lamorak, that when he was departed from Sir Tristram, he rode out of the forest, till he came to an hermitage. When the hermit saw him, he asked him from whence he came. Sir, said Sir Lamorak, I come from this valley. Sir, said the hermit, thereof I marvel, For this 20 winter I saw never no knight pass this country, but he was either slain or villainously wounded, or pass as a poor prisoner. Those old customs, said Sir Lamorak, are fordone, for Sir Tristram slew your lord, Sir Nabon, and his son. Then was the hermit glad, and all his brethren, for he said there was never such a tyrant among Christian men. And therefore, said the hermit, this valley and franchise we will hold of Sir Tristram. So on the morrow Sir Lamorak departed, and as he rode he saw 4 knights fight against one, and that one knight defended him well, but at the last the 4 knights had him down. And then Sir Lamorak went betwixt them, and asked them why they would slay that one knight, and said it was shame, for against one. Thou shalt well wit, said the 4 knights, that he is false. That is your tale, said Sir Lamorak, and when I hear him also speak, I will say as ye say. Then said Lamorak, Ah, knight, can ye not excuse you, but that ye are a false knight? Sir, said he, yet can I excuse me both with my word and with my hands, that I will make good upon one of the best of them, my body to his body. Then spake they all at once, We will not jeopardy our bodies as for thee. But wit thou well, they said, and King Arthur were here himself, it should not lie in his power to save his life. That is too much said, said Sir Lamorak, but many speak behind a man more than they will say to his face. And because of your words ye shall understand that I am one of the simplest of King Arthur's court. In the worship of my lord now do your best, and in despite of you I shall rescue him. And then they lashed all at once to Sir Lamorak, but anon at 2 strokes Sir Lamorak had slain 2 of them, and then the other 2 fled. So then Sir Lamorak turned again to that knight, and asked him his name. Sir, he said, my name is Sir Frole of the Out Isles. Then he rode with Sir Lamorak and bare him company. And as they rode by the way, they saw a seemly knight riding against them, and all in white. Ah, said Frole, yonder knight jousted late with me and smote me down. Therefore I will joust with him. Ye shall not do so, said Sir Lamorak, by my counsel, and ye will tell me your quarrel, whether ye jousted at his request, or he at yours. Nay, said Sir Frole, I jousted with him at my request. Sir, said Lamorak, then will I counsel you deal no more with him, for meseemeth by his countenance he should be a noble knight, and no japer, for methinketh he should be of the Table Round. Therefore I will not spare, said Sir Frole. And then he cried and said, Sir Knight, make thee ready to joust. That needeth not, said the White Knight, for I have no lust to joust with thee. But yet they feuded their spears, and the White Knight overthrew Sir Frole, and then he rode his way a soft pace. Then Sir Lamorak rode after him, and prayed him to tell him his name, for meseemeth ye should be of the fellowship of the Round Table. Upon a covenant, said he, I will tell you my name, so that you will not discover my name, and also that you will tell me yours. Then said he, my name is Sir Lamorak de Gales, and my name is Sir Lancelot du Lake. Then they put up their swords, and kissed heartily together, and either made great joy of other. Sir, said Sir Lamorak, an it please you I will do you service. God defend, said Lancelot, that any of so noble a blood as ye be should do me service. Then he said, More, I am in a quest that I must do myself alone. Now God speed you, said Sir Lamorak, and so they departed. Then Sir Lamorak came to Sir Frole, and horsed him again. What knight is that? Said Sir Frole. Sir, he said, it is not for you to know, nor it is no point of my charge. Ye are the more uncourteous, said Sir Frole, and therefore I will depart from you. Ye may do as ye list, said Sir Lamorak, and yet by my company ye have saved the fairest flower of your garland. So they departed. Chapter XLI, how Sir Lamorak slew Sir Frole, and of the courteous fighting with Sir Belliance his brother. Then within 2 or 3 days Sir Lamorak found a knight at a well sleeping, and his lady sat with him and waked. Right so came Sir Gawain and took the knight's lady, and set her up behind his squire. So Sir Lamorak rode after Sir Gawain, and said, Sir Gawain, turn again. And then said Sir Gawain, What will ye do with me? For I am nephew unto King Arthur. Sir, said he, for that cause I will spare you, else that lady should abide with me, or else ye should joust with me. Then Sir Gawain turned him and ran to him that ought the lady with his spear. But the knight with pure might smote down Sir Gawain, and took his lady with him. All this Sir Lamorak saw, and said to himself, But I revenge my fellow, he will say of me dishonour in King Arthur's court. Then Sir Lamorak returned and proffered that knight to joust. Sir, said he, I am ready. And there they came together with all their might, and there Sir Lamorak smote the knight through both sides that he fell to the earth dead. Then that lady rode to that knight's brother that hight Belliance le Orgulous, that dwelt fast thereby, and then she told him how his brother was slain. Alas, said he, I will be revenged. And so he horsed him, and armed him, and within a while he overtook Sir Lamorak, and bade him, Turn and leave that lady, for thou and I must play a new play. For thou hast slain my brother Sir Frole, that was a better knight than ever wert thou. It might well be, said Sir Lamorak, but this day in the field I was found the better. So they rode together, and unhorsed other, and turned their shields, and drew their swords, and fought mightily as noble knights proved, by the space of 2 hours. So then Sir Belliance prayed him to tell him his name. Sir, said he, my name is Sir Lamorak de Gaules. Ah, said Sir Belliance, thou art the man in the world that I most hate, for I slew my sons for thy sake, where I saved thy life, and now thou hast slain my brother Sir Frole. Alas, how should I be accorded with thee? Therefore defend thee, for thou shalt die, there is none other remedy. Alas, said Sir Lamorak, full well me ought to know you, for ye are the man that most have done for me. And therewithal Sir Lamorak kneeled down, and besought him of grace. Arise, said Sir Belliance, or else there as thou kneelest I shall slay thee. That shall not need, said Sir Lamorak, for I will yield me unto you, not for fear of you, nor for your strength, but your goodness maketh me full loath to have ado with you. Wherefore I require you for God's sake, and for the honour of knighthood, forgive me all that I have offended unto you. Alas, said Belliance, leave thy kneeling, or else I shall slay thee without mercy. Then they yet again unto battle, and either wounded other, that all the ground was bloody thereas they fought. And at the last Belliance withdrew him aback, and set him down softly upon a little hill, for he was so faint for bleeding that he might not stand. Then Sir Lamorak threw his shield upon his back, and asked him what cheer. Well, said Sir Belliance, Ah, so, yet shall I show you favour in your melees. Ah, knight Sir Belliance, said Sir Lamorak, thou art a fool, for when I had had thee at such advantage as thou hast done me, I should slay thee. But thy gentleness is so good and so large, that I must needs to give thee mine evil will. And then Sir Lamorak kneeled down, and unlaced first his umbre, and then his own, and then either kissed other with weeping tears. Then Sir Lamorak led Sir Belliance to an abbey fast by, and there Sir Lamorak would not depart from Belliance till he was whole. And then they sware together that none of them should never fight against other. So Sir Lamorak departed and went to the court of King Arthur. Here leave we of Sir Lamorak and of Sir Tristram. And here beginneth the history of La Cote Male Tale.